Saskatchewan, Michael Landsberg and Jamie Bone. It's Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon, and today it's the University of Saskatchewan versus the University of Calgary. They are now 2 steps away from the Vanier Cup. 3 hours from now, they will be 1 step away. As the Calgary Dinos get set to kick it off, Bruce Parsons is their kicker. It'll be Saskatchewan moving right to left on your screen. The Saskatchewan Huskies, such a well-balanced offense. They have played great football all year, and they are on a super roll, 4-0 in their last 4.
Now, I think what you also have to mention, Michael, as well, is Saskatchewan has played pretty good defense as well this year. They've got some great linebackers and a very strong secondary.
Dinosaurs won it last year. They were so close in the Vanier Cup. They would like to make it again, but Saskatchewan will get the ball first, and it will be Kelly Wist watching the ball to go over his head, and it's fielded by Maury Norston. Norston breaks 1 tackle, and Norston brings it out over the 20-yard line to the 24, and that's where the Saskatchewan Huskies will tee it up. Rich Gabrook making his way onto the field, and again, what an incredible story Gabrook is. Was a high school fine quarterback, hoped to make it at the CIAU level, basically had given up on it, was their punter.
Well, I think the other thing that's amazing about Gabrook is the fact that he was the 3rd-string quarterback when we were here a couple of weeks ago. And now he's number 1.
And he's got a good guy behind him, a really guy that he can rely on, Maury Norston. These are his season numbers. You can see they are big numbers, almost 900 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. That's on the ground through the air. Norston has added another 6.
And that's 6.7 yards per carry every time he touches the ball. This guy is a very explosive football player, possesses great speed.
And certainly they're going to want to rely on him again with a, not so much a young guy, but an experienced guy in Rich Gabrook. Saskatchewan Huskies in the green. Calgary Dinosaurs in the red. The Huskies will get it going. 24-yard line is where they begin. And everybody out of the backfield, so Gabrook is going to go to the air right away. Gabrook is going to run. He does have that capability, and Gabrook gets a nice block, and Gabrook has a nice gain as he steps out of bounds at the 37-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Saskatchewan Huskies, who always seem to have a big offensive line, and this year is no different. Mikowski and Flory all conference along the offensive line. They are, as always, big and strong. In the backfield, Gabrook, as you can see, Slavic, and then Norston. What a year for Norston.
And some great receivers in this team. Kerry Prokop, of course, coming into this game with 41 receptions. Blackburn, of course, the big touchdown guy when they get close to the end zone. Very talented group. Tons
of touchdowns through the air. We'll tell you about that in a second. It is first down for Saskatchewan at the 37-yard line. And Gabrook again sprints out. He's got tons of room in front of him, and he pulls it down, and Gabrook goes out of bounds. He'll have close to 10. Call it a gain of 9. So Rich Gabrook, we didn't really know about his running ability. He's a tall guy, but he certainly is able to move out of the pocket, and he has done that twice now. Defensive line for the Calgary Dinosaurs looks like this. Schmulin with 5 sacks is the all-star along the defensive line, but everybody can get pressure on the passer. The linebacking trio looks like this, and they'll shift different guys in and out. Nightingale had a fine season. He is the leading tackler.
And this secondary is a group that's picked off 20 passes this year, led by Dan Stewart and also Trent Bagnall.
So second down, just over a yard for the Saskatchewan Huskies, and it's a first down for Norston, and he breaks the tackle. Nice move by Norston, and he's still going. What a run by Norston inside the 35-yard line. He made 3 outstanding moves for the Huskies.
And you can see the kind of power that this back possesses and how quick he is into the hole. Off tackle left, they leave with the fullback. What a great move he puts on Greg Heisey, the safety. Now he gets great balance, gets his shoulders upfield, puts another great move on Mike Nightingale, the outside linebacker. Now he turns on the speed.
Tough guy to bring down. 2 straight first downs for the Saskatchewan Huskies, all on the ground. Gabrook gives it once again on the ground. They keep it, but this time it's snuffed out very quickly, and that was Norston again, but his gain is limited to perhaps 3. It'll be second down and 7 yards to go for the Saskatchewan Huskies.
Well, right now, Michael, it seems that when Saskatchewan want to roll out, they have no problem getting around the corner. What they're trying to do, they play 2 linebackers inside. Garrett Everson have primary contain. They seem to be doing a very good job of sealing them off and getting Gabrook outside. Let's see if they run it again here.
Or let's see if he goes to the air for the first time. Norston in the backfield behind Rich Gabrook. It's second down and call it a long 6. Gabrook, it's going to be a draw play to Norston. Got a little room to the right side, and now he finds the big hole. Penalty in behind the play. Norston has the first down, but this one looks like holding. And that will be the call, holding against Saskatchewan. So there was a massive hole to the right side when he bounced it outside, and he took it actually down to the 15-yard line, but it'll be called back, holding against the University of Saskatchewan. And what a tough penalty that is, because instead of first down
60.
at that point, they'll be left with second down and about 17 yards to go. So the offensive line of Saskatchewan really doing a nice job. See if you can see the hole to the left side of the screen. Number 60, Gene Makowski. And Makowski, not much.
It's pretty
but that
tight.
was the call. So second down and 17 for Saskatchewan. And Gabrook perhaps thinking of improving the field position for potential field goal attempt. But Gabrook looks left and then throws into the end zone, and it's going to be out of bounds. Well out of bounds by Gabrook, but a penalty marker. Now, that's interesting. Jason Olenek was down there. He was kind of slipping, and he got nudged by a Calgary player, and I think they're going to call interference on Calgary. Now, that was not a catchable ball.
It doesn't matter if it's catchable or not in CIAU. If you interfere, it's interference. Now, interference as well.
That is the call. It's interference.
Is a 15-yard penalty. Does not go to the point of where the infraction.
But it's a first down. An automatic first down. Jason Olenek was the receiver. There was definitely contact, but it's perhaps the most slippery point of the field right there. Olenek went down. You can see the result of the infraction. You can't see the infraction itself, but the result is this: Saskatchewan with a first down, and they've got the ball at the 25-yard line. Gabrook draw play again to Norston, and Norston is brought down very nicely by Garrett Everson. Everson brought him down in the backfield. It's a loss of 5. It'll be 2nd and 15.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michael, when Saskatchewan came out in that 3-receiver formation, I'm surprised that they ran the ball here because they had the linebacker Jason Hart on Kerry Prokop, their best receiver. It's a good job by the Calgary defense. Everson again getting some penetration. You can see how slippery the field is. The sun's come down, it was frozen, and now it's starting to thaw out a little bit. People are having a tough time keeping their feet.
Fine play by Garrett Everson. Second down and 16. So it's the second straight time that they have had second and very long. 3 receivers to the right, just 1 to the left. Gabrook throws it up into the end zone. He lays it out there for his receiver, who makes an outstanding catch over his wrong shoulder. What a catch that was by David Blackburn, all-conference receiver.
David Blackburn comes into this game with 8 touchdowns, but this is a great pass by Rich Gabrook because he throws the ball up nice and high. And I'll tell you what, he's throwing against a pretty good corner in Colin Newman. He's the All-Canadian, but a nice adjustment by Blackburn. Make sure he keeps his eyes on the ball, tucks it in. Watch how Newman never really gets his head around, never locates the football.
So great position for the University of Saskatchewan in the opening drive of the game. It's the CWUAA championship game. Gabrook goes to the air. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown! Saskatchewan. Kerry Prokop, second all-time leading receiver for this school. And what a drive by Rich Gabrook.
Kerry Prokop is man coverage against Dan Jeremiah, and he just blows right by him. Nice pass by Rich Gabrook, but an even better catch by Kerry Prokop, his 8th touchdown this season.
You know, that's an incredible drive. They started off on the ground, 2 runs by Gabrook. Then they gave the ball to Norston for that big drive and that big run. And then they turned to the air. They got the big benefit of the interference call, and from there they took it in. And Olenek's conversion attempt is not overly pretty, but successful. 7-0 for the University of Saskatchewan. They start exactly the way they wanted to with a beautiful drive. We'll see what the Dinosaurs can do when we return to Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. Kerry Prokop, and why not? Prokop made a sensational catch on a fine pass, and 7-0 Saskatchewan on really a terrific drive. And watch the eyes of Rich Gabrook here.
This is what I think sells it right there. He looks left, and then he comes back to Prokop. I think that fools Jeremiah. I think Jeremiah's kind of cheating a little bit, looking into the backfield and trying to watch Rich Gabrook's head, try to get an indication of where he's going to throw the football.
Rich Gabrook, they said he could pass and they said he could run, but the question is, can he call the game and do all the other things? And the answer right now is a definite yes 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and a short kickoff. And there's the return by Garrett Everson. He's actually, I think he's about the only guy whose name we have called in a positive light so far for Calgary, and he takes it out over the 35-yard line to the 37, where Jason Assen will start this game down 7-0. Here are his statistics against the Saskatchewan Huskies. 26 for 56, not great percentage-wise. Yards, pretty good, but 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, not the ratio, certainly, that Coach Peter Cannellan wants. They've got the ball, call it right at the 40-yard line. The Dinosaurs do. Everybody out of the backfield. Assen's going to go to the air, and he has got a man right away. Kevin Klein, the receiver, and Klein with a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3 for the Calgary Dinosaurs, who have a good offensive line, a veteran offensive line. Ron Meyer, their left guard, all-star, likely going to be all-Canadian. In the backfield, of course, Jason Assen, the quarterback, Chris Lewis with his 395 yards last week, and Gene Stahl, pretty useful player out of the backfield.
And a fine set of receivers led by Don Blair, had over 1,000 yards receiving this year, 53 receptions. This guy is a game breaker. He has some great moves. When he gets his hands on the football, he can make a lot of things happen.
Blair, a good receiver as well. Field is a good one. Klein, these are 2 very good football teams, 2 teams that can both run and pass the ball. And Calgary, with 2nd down and 3, has the option right now to do either. Lewis with a huge game last week, 395 yards, and here's Chris Lewis's first carry of the game. He's got a first down, but I'll tell you what, he took some kind of hit there. He got smacked just as he was making the first down. The defensive line for the Saskatchewan, seems like the Saskatchewan Huskies always have big, strong linemen. James Repesy is the Rookie of the Year nominee for the CWUAA. As for the linebackers, Steve Cornish is an all-star, led the team and the conference, and Joe Saul, with 10 sacks, led the conference.
And a good set of defensive secondary people, Trent Bagnall, all-conference, and also Dan Stewart.
First down, Calgary Dinosaurs, and Assen goes to the air on first down again, and he has got a man as Saskatchewan laying well off the ball, and a couple of tackles broken by Kevin Klein. Klein simply went down about 8 yards, and nobody was near him.
And this is really vintage Calgary, the 3-step drop action that they like to have their quarterbacks. The offensive line fires out, cuts people, gives Jason Assen some time to reviewing space to look down the field. Reads it right. They're just in that zone coverage underneath. Throws it in front of Louis Simon.
And Calgary answering immediately the drive and the tempo set by the Saskatchewan Huskies. We're just nicely underway, but Jamie said in our opening he expects a shootout, and we are certainly seeing big offense so far. Great drive by the Huskies, and Calgary now with 2 straight first downs. And Lewis drops the ball. Chris Lewis drops it, and he is back on the ball, but they'll end up losing about 9. Lewis picked up his own fumble. Pretty good pitch, just couldn't squeeze it. And for a guy with good hands, that's unusual.
And they're running toss. They're bringing Ryan Williams around to help block, but he just can't find the handle. And Chris Lewis, fortunate to get back on top of that ball. You can see the kind of how he slips, trying to get back to it. You can see it feels a little bit slick right now.
Nobody is going to try harder to get the ball back than the guy who dropped it, and that was the story there for Chris Lewis. But it's 2nd down and very long now for Calgary. Assen steps up, throws, got a man wide open. I mean, really wide open. John Field, and Field has got a first down. Boy, I like the way he put his nose down at the end and drove for the first down. Those last 2 yards did it.
Well, I think what happened there is Sean Grant, the corner, they were trying to play corner coverage where they bring up the corner and he plays short zone, and then they take Dan Stewart deep, but it seemed like Sean Grant gave too big of a cushion. Take a look at the room here that John Field has. Jason Assen delivers a strike.
And right there, he makes the first down, so he needed every inch, and a first down for Calgary. That's now 3 on their first drive of the game. 8:24 to play in the first quarter from Griffith Stadium. Chris Lewis this time holds on. Oh, got a nice lead block. His fellow running mate, Gene Stahl, moved in and opened up a nice hole for Lewis. Lewis with a healthy hole on the right side. And a gain of more than 5, called it 2nd and 4.
This is a play they wanted to run before, where it's toss, everybody just gets on man. They take Gene Stahl out, and he kicks out primary contain, which is Dan Stewart. And then Chris Lewis is busted up the field.
David Guthrie made the tackle, kind of slapped at the ankle of Lewis. Otherwise, he may have gone a long way, because it was wide open on the right side there. For the Calgary Dinosaurs, as you take a look at the Dinosaurs, who made the trip from Calgary, and a confident bunch that came in very animated before the game. Really cranked up for this, given the fact that they were so close in last year's Vanier Cup.
Well, I think what's really important for Calgary is that they really found their running game once again. When we did them a couple of weeks ago in Edmonton against University of Alberta, it was really Jason Aston who had to win that game for him. Jason Aston, John Field, and Don Blair. The running game was basically shut down, and that was so unusual for this type of team because they had been tailback U the last few years. J.P. Escuerdo, of course, Sean Latter, who's now the backup. See the kind of physical activity going on inside there with David Guthrie.
And Don Blair, the wide receiver, did a good job of blocking, and that's something that Peter Connellan insists from his wide receivers. You can really follow a team, you know, from year to year, and it seems like they get players that play the same style of football, and the Dinosaurs certainly playing it their way right now on this drive. 3 first downs, 3 for 3 for quarterback Jason Aston. Aston gives the ball to Lewis, and Lewis short of the first down. He needed to make it right to the 20-yard line. He went down just in front of it. It'll be 3rd down and about a half yard to go for the Dinosaurs.
And that was a real nice job by Brandon Leatherdale, the defensive tackle for Saskatchewan. He really gets off the ball and stuffs everything up, drives the blocker right back into the backfield into Lewis.
That was it, really. He pushed the blocker back into Lewis. Didn't have to make the tackle, almost like a snooker ball bouncing from one to the other, and they will go for it. Not a huge gamble, but and almost a yard. They're going to have to get some movement of the defensive line. Calgary Dinosaurs, they try a deep starting play. Lewis plows his way to the left side, and Chris Lewis has got the first down. I always wonder about that, though, on a play where you need less than a yard starting at that deep, but certainly Lewis gets it turned upfield in a hurry. He is a good-looking running back.
And that's the key to it, Michael. He gets his shoulders turned upfield. He starts running north-south as opposed to east-west. Good lead block again by Gene Stahl. There's that reach. They pull the guard Ron Meyer around, and now Lewis just picks his way, finds a hole, and gets it up forward for the first down.
That's the stuff you taught me through those years. Get the shoulders turned up and start running north-south.
Right here. There it is, right there.
Now, the problem is when the field's facing east-west. Calgary Dinosaurs, 4 first downs in this drive. Aston sprints out. Aston! Oh, he makes the break of the tackle, and Aston turns it up and just tries to take something, but I thought he was down for sure. He brought it close to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd down and 13.
Well, Jason Aston was looking downfield for Don Blair, but very good coverage on Don Blair. Nothing really there. Now he's got Saul in his face, and then it comes across James Rapizzi. And he makes the tackle.
It could have been a lot worse. It's now 2nd down and a long 13 for the Dinosaurs. 2nd and long has been no problem for Calgary or Saskatchewan early on in this game. They fake the draw to Lewis. Aston looks, and he overthrows his man. He had a man wide open. I mean, wide open. Number 24, Ryan Williams, was there. He likely would have scored, but the pass overthrown by a good 7, 8, 10 yards.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned the guys like Ryan Williams. We talk about Don Blair, Ron Meyer. All 3 of those players are from Saskatchewan, playing for the University of Calgary. So kind of a homecoming for them playing here.
Williams was open, but Aston couldn't find him, and as a result, the drive stalls at the 17-yard line. It'll be a 24-yard field goal attempt, call it, for Bruce Parsons. Parsons 20 to 29 yards. 4 for 4 on the season. And called it 5 for 5 on the season. So Parsons is good. The Calgary Dinosaurs look to even it up with a great-looking drive. They couldn't get the 7, but they got the 3, and we are seeing big-time offense here as the Dinosaurs and Huskies play for the West. Welcome back. Michael Landsberg and Jamie Bone here at the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon. It is just a great day for football. It is sunny. It's cool, but not cold. And the field, although a little bit slick in some areas, will likely dry during the day with the sun shining. Now, you say, Jamie, that the field conditions, even though they look perfect, maybe have been a factor so far?
Yeah, I think so. I think for defensively as well, I think you see a lot of the defenders kind of getting up, trying to take on the blockers, standing upright and trying to slide laterally to make the play. They don't seem to really get their feet underneath them and really dig in hard and get some surge up the field. Now, once this field thaws out a little bit more, maybe they'll get a little bit more traction.
You know, I know it's perhaps the most overused phrase by commentators before a game. We expect a great game, but we expected a good one. We have seen one drive from each team, and we expect a great football game. All kinds of offense. The Huskies were dynamite in their first drive on the ground and through the air with Rich Gabrook. They get the ball at the 35-yard line after the successful field goal by Calgary. And for the first time, the ball carrier is Jeff Slavic, and Slavic, the fullback, plows ahead for a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Well, they try to keep him honest by running a little bit of the inside trap to the fullback. Now, Calgary come out and play what they call a 43 exchange, where they have 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, but they play their linebackers inside, all 3 of them inside of the tackles. That where when they start playing that kind of defense, I think they're a little bit weak outside. That's where I think they can hook the end and then try and get Brook outside and give him the option out of the throw or the run.
2nd down and 7. Brook has shown the ability certainly to run the football. The first 2 plays from scrimmage, he is a mobile quarterback. Looks like an ideal quarterback, but he was their punter. Brook looks over the middle, and he has got Kerry Prokop once again. He put it exactly where he wanted to. Prokop wanted up high, and he got it for the first down.
I think what's impressive about Brook is his poise in the pocket. And he throws to one of his best receivers. Kerry Prokop goes up nice and high. On the coverage, Rob Isaac.
Well, it's play or your career is over now for Kerry Prokop in his 5th year. Make that the 2nd all-time leading receiver for Saskatchewan. As soon as they lose, his career, a terrific one, will be over. Brook with a pitch to Norston. This is what you want him to do, try to go outside, and Norston puts his head down and keeps driving. He is one tough little guy. Norston down inside the 55 to Calgary territory, down to the 51-yard line for a gain of 7, 2nd and 3.
And there's a good example on Saskatchewan's offense right now. David Blackburn, he's not a very big receiver, number 5, 5'9", 168, but he gets a block outside here against Dan Jeremiah that actually springs Norston outside. You know, and that's the kind of effort that you need from your people. A lot of wide receivers get out there, they want to catch all the passes, they don't want to go downfield. See, that's a great block. And see how Norston gets outside? That's a super job.
2nd down, 3, and it's Norston again. Norston trying to turn it up, and Norston not going to make the first down. He got the shoulders turned up, but as he was driving, he got met. It'll be 3rd down and about a yard to go for the Saskatchewan Huskies. Calgary elected to go for it and made it. Let's see what the Huskies decide to do. I don't think there's much question they will go for it.
Now, it looks like they're going to go for it. They have a lot of confidence in their offensive line.
You see all kinds of receivers moving in and out. Coach Brian Tower is calling virtually all the plays. Flaman comes in with the play. 3rd down and 1. Rich Brook. Brook able to run himself, but he's going to give the ball to Norston, and Norston cuts and drives ahead, and Norston has got the first down. If he gets any kind of placement, and he did, it'll be a first down for the University of Saskatchewan as they continue to be very impressive with the ball.
One thing that's very impressive about Norston as well is his burst. Watch how low he gets here. Understands the situation, only needs a yard, couple yards. Now he slices up the field, bang! Gets real low, no one gets underneath him. It looks like almost a face mask there.
And there's the indication from the official. It is a first down for Saskatchewan at the 48-yard line. Yeah, Norston looks good. Brook looks outstanding. The Huskies lead it by a score of 7-3. 3:41 to play in a very quick but entertaining first quarter of football. Fakes this time to Norston, and Brook is going to look deep. He lays it out for Prokop, and Prokop has got the ball. 2 Calgary players right there, but it's the little man Prokop that comes down with it. I mean, Calgary was in ideal position there to break it up.
You know, Kerry Prokop just plays with so much confidence. Greg Heisey is right there, the safety, turns around, thinks he's got the play, stumbles and falls. But Prokop does not take his eye off the ball, does not get distracted. Patrick Hardy comes in from behind and brings him down. That's a super catch.
That was a great catch and a first down for Saskatchewan inside the 15-yard line. They spread players way out to the right side. 3 receivers. Norston cuts to the left. Norston breaks the tackle, and another one. Norston searches for the end zone. He's got it. What a run by Norston. 14 yards. Maury Norston, and Saskatchewan incredible so far with the ball. Just keeps those legs driving like pistons. Watch it here. Norston breaks his first tackle right there, just not even close to bringing him down. Then he cuts back against the grain and finds the end zone, and it's 13-3 with Jason Olenik's conversion attempt. Successful again. Not an overly dynamic kick by Olenek, but he gets it through. And it's 14-3 for Brian Towers's University of Saskatchewan. The Western final right now belongs to Saskatchewan.
We got a hold of a Geo tracker and decided to use it to get to know Geo's roadside assistance.
So Scott locked the keys in the car intentionally for a change.
What are you trying to say?
Kelly phoned them, and I started the stopwatch.
Yeah, nice shoes, zebra boy.
And we waited.
But you know what? Not for long.
Because 27 minutes and 35 seconds later, they showed up.
Mark from roadside assistance.
No big deal, really.
What do you mean? Look at you, no big deal.
Just another day at the office for Mark, though.
Under 28 minutes.
They should deliver pizzas.
This is a very big play for University of Saskatchewan, giving the ball to Maury Norston. You can see they pull both guard and tackle from the backside counter. Norston does a great job of breaking the tackle of Rob Kidd, and then he cuts it back inside, and then he puts his head down right here, bang, right over Dan Jeremiah to get into the end zone.
It's a great run by Norston, and Maury Norston, who has just assumed so much of the load with the injury to Schneider. I mean, Schneider goes out and bang, the very next game he rushes for 295 yards. He is really playing super football. Short kickoff, and this is a live ball, and Calgary better fall on it. They do finally pick it up. And they've got it out over the 30 to the 33-yard line. That's where they'll begin. Chris Lewis was the one that eventually fielded the ball. And the Dinosaurs now all of a sudden under some pressure to get it going, because Saskatchewan looks like they have got exactly the right game plan facing that Calgary defense. So Calgary's got to get the ball moving again.
Yeah, one thing you got to watch about Saskatchewan, when they get onto a roll, boy, they can start to make a lot of things happen, as we saw when they played UBC here. It was 50-3 at halftime. Game very similar to this. UBC moved the ball pretty effectively in the first quarter, but could not punch it into the end zone. Got a field goal, but Saskatchewan just continued to score, and the game really got away from UBC.
Just two terrific drives. Rich Gabrook led them right from the opening kickoff down the field. Really set the tone for the drives as he ran, and then just when Calgary perhaps was thinking, let's watch the guy run, he went to the air, and his numbers are outstanding. Rich Gabrook.
And I think one of the big advantages that the University of Saskatchewan has with the junior program here, the Hilltops, they have a number of players that have played for the Hilltops. Of course, we mentioned Maury Norston, Brent Schneider, the quarterback that is out with the knee injury. But it's great for them to have those kind of players in this area that after they're through their junior careers, they decide to go on and play university.
So Rich Gabrook, in terms of his contribution so far, 4 for 4, 78 yards, and a touchdown. Plus those two fine runs as well. Added up, Saskatchewan leads by a score of 14-3. Calgary's got the ball, 32-yard line. Asson was very sharp in the first possession, and he gives the ball to Chris Lewis, and Lewis stops and is wrestled down. He made it just over the 30, so it'll be gain of only 2, maybe 2.5 yards. Call it 2nd and 7. 2 possessions, 2 scoring drives to tell you about. Maury Norston finishes this one 14 yards. The drive in total 75 yards. The Huskies look outstanding. 2nd down and 7 for the University of Calgary. Lewis installed in behind Asson. Asson's going to sprint out. He's comfortable throwing on the run. Nobody open, and Asson pulls it down and throws, and he throws it down low. Reception made, and an excellent reception by John Field. Field is short of the first down, though. Well short. It'll be 3rd and about 3 yards to go.
Now Jason Asson is looking inside. He wants to hit Ryan Carruthers coming across in that bootleg action. Saskatchewan's linebackers did a great job at taking that away. Then he had to come back to John Field, who was working back, ran a deep route, and came back and worked to his quarterback.
John Field did a good job to help out his quarterback, come back and make a fine catch, but he still came up 3 yards short, so it's 3rd down and 3 yards to go, and Bruce Parsons will be forced to kick it away to Kelly Wist and Jason Olenick. And Calgary has really got to play some defense here. Nice kick. High one into the sun, looking up. Kelly Wist bobbles the ball, stops, and finally does catch it, and then gets hammered as he brought it out to the 48-yard line. And that's where the Saskatchewan Huskies will begin with 52 seconds to play in what was a near-perfect first quarter for the Saskatchewan offense.
What's incredible with that punt return, Saskatchewan only had 11 men on the field. Didn't even have the number they're allowed. Still got a pretty good return.
He did, an excellent field position, and as I said, the Dinosaurs have got to find a way to play some defense here.
It's a very big series, I believe, for Calgary right now. They've got to show they can play some defense and try and shut down this attack.
14-3. The Saskatchewan Huskies lead it. First and 10, 48-yard line. Maureen Norston. Norston's got a good hole again, and cutting back. He just lost his footing, although that may have been interesting if he would have stayed up. Picked up 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. This is one championship game of a conference taking place. There are a number of others today, 3 others in the OUAA. The Western Mustangs over Laurier 14-9.
And it's pouring rain in Ontario when I flew in there from this morning. Absolutely awful weather in the...
Ian Breck's Bishop's Gators lead the McGill Redmen 14-0 in Montreal. And we will keep you posted on that. The other one in the East, it's Acadia versus St. Mary's. 2nd down and 3. Norston turns it up, and Norston has a first down. You know, Gabrook has looked good. Norston has looked great. But the offensive line of Saskatchewan really dominating things.
That's the point. You don't see any heads or red helmets crossing the line of scrimmage at all. Everything is being played on Calgary's side of the line of scrimmage. Norston again makes another nice run. Gets down so low, doesn't give people a lot to hit.
So another first down for Saskatchewan as they continue to roll through that Calgary offense. Rich Gabrook has been perfect so far, 4 for 4. First and 10, the pitch to Norston. Norston stops and gets around his man to the outside, and Norston really quick turns the corner, and he's got close to a gain of 10. It'll be 2nd down and very short.
And you know, right here you can see the effects that Calgary are having. They're used to playing on AstroTurf. This is very soft right now. Jeremiah, normally in AstroTurf, he'd make that tackle, but he loses his feet, slips, and another great block downfield by Corey Flaman, Kerry Prokop, number 71. I mean, look at that. That's against a defensive lineman, Prokop, 6'1", 175 pounds, against Rob Richards, 6'3", 245.
2nd down and inches to go. Is Gabrook a gambler? Let's see. No, he's going to go straight ahead by himself, and he easily makes the first down. So they're having success no matter what they run. Quarterback sneak nets him close to 5 yards. First down for Saskatchewan, and that will do it for the end of the first quarter. I said near perfect. I'm not sure why I said near perfect for the offense of Saskatchewan. It was perfect. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns, and they are embarking on their 3rd, and we'll see how it completes when we return. After 1, the Huskies lead the Dinosaurs 14-3 in the Western Final. Lots of one fingers pointed up into the air, and why not? Right now, Saskatchewan is number 1. The Saskatchewan Huskies against the Calgary Dinosaurs. Welcome back to Griffith Stadium. Michael Landsberg and Jamie Vaughan. It's the Western Final, and right now, Saskatchewan is just dynamite offensively. They are on fire. They lead it by a score of 14-3, and they are embarking on another drive. They've had the ball twice. They have scored 2 touchdowns. First and 10, 36-yard line, first play of the 2nd quarter. And it's the fullback once again, Jeff Slavic, with his 2nd carry of the game, and Slavic picks up maybe 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Take a look at the stats from the first quarter. 11 first downs. That's enormous. Net yards, 190 for the University of Saskatchewan to 73. And time of possession dominated by the Huskies.
Now, I'll tell you what, when you can run the ball like that, 112 yards in the first quarter, does that ever open up the passing game for you? It takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback. The pass rush seems to become negated when you can run the ball that effectively.
2nd down and 6. Huskies with the ball just outside the 30-yard line. Blitz by Calgary, well picked up over the middle and complete. Gabrook, perfect once again, 5 for 5. He has been unbelievable. Rich Gabrook. That's Jason Johnson on the reception.
Take a look at the time that he has to throw here. No penetration whatsoever. Just gets back, just throws a little dart over to Jason Johnson.
First down again as Gabrook has them marching. Really key series, as you said, for the Dinosaurs. They got to find a way to stop Saskatchewan. Prokop and Blackburn wide to the right. Gabrook is going to go to the air. He wants Prokop in the end zone. He's wide open, and it's underthrown. Now, I don't think that was so much of a bad pass as it was a misread on the part of Gabrook. He thought Prokop was going in a certain way.
I think he thought Prokop was going to do the deep out, and Prokop, I think, turned back into the sun and kind of lost it here. Prokop's looking inside because Dan Jeremiah loses him, and then he turns outside.
Jamie, you know what? Saskatchewan is killing them. Everything that they do offensively is working. I mean, they had total domination so far, but Calgary gets a huge break there. Wide open receiver, no reception, so it's 2nd down and 10. Let's see if the Dinosaurs can make him pay for the mistake. Gabruk looks, throws, and he's got a drop pass. Outstanding pass by Rich Gabruk right into the hands of Jason Johnson. You cannot throw the ball better than that.
Jason Johnson running the post pattern from the slot position inside. Rich Gabruk looking downfield, waits, now puts this ball right on the money as he beats Rob Isaac. Boy. Calgary catches a big break here.
Two really, really big breaks. I mean, they were two plays that were sitting right there for Saskatchewan. One time the receiver was wide open. That time, perfect pass, just dropped the ball. So the Dinosaurs dodge a big one. Olenek will try the field goal from the 28-yard line. And his field goal attempt is not very good. It comes up short, and Calgary not going to concede a single point. They're going to return it. John Field does to the 10-yard line, and that's where the Dinosaurs will begin.
And if there's one weakness in Saskatchewan's game, it is definitely the kicking game. They've struggled all year long. They had Georgie Caucus doing it earlier, but now with the limited roster, they felt they would have to get Olenek to do it in this particular game.
On the sidelines of the Saskatchewan Huskies is Brent Schneider, quarterback for the Huskies. Brent, how you doing today? I know you'd rather be out there, but your team looks outstanding.
Yeah, they're doing a heck of a job so far. You know, we're sticking pretty close to our game plan and just hopefully trying to wear them down, and we just got to keep plugging away.
Tell me about Rich Gabruk. I mean, he's been amazing. Admit it to us. Are you surprised by his play?
Well, in some ways I am, but in the sense that he's a little bit older and he's a real mature guy, and he's really handling the situations really well, and in that sense I'm not surprised.
Let me interrupt. You're going to like this. A turnover. The reception was made by Kevin Klein. He was stripped of the ball, and Brent Schneider's Saskatchewan Huskies have got it back at the 10-yard line.
He's looking all the way to the out right here. He's one-on-one against Mike Stewart. Drills a bullet here, but watch Mike Stewart comes up and strips the ball right there. Luis Simon comes in now, number 4, gets a hand on it, picks it up, and what a big break. What a bad break for Calgary.
We'll get back to Brent Schneider in a second. The Saskatchewan Huskies, leading it by a score of 14-3, 12:22 to play in the first half, have got the ball at the 10-yard line. Olenek wide to the right. Blackburn to the left with 3 other receivers. Johnson and Prokop also over there. But they're going to run the ball to Norston, and Norston looks for the outside, and he's got such quick feet. He really made 5 yards on that play out of nothing. I didn't think there was any chance he would make it to the outside.
He has this great lateral movement. It looks like he's going to bounce up the field and then takes it outside. There's really nothing here. They've got him contained. Newman does a good job. But look at that straight arm. Now he gets his shoulders around the corner. He doesn't run like a back that's 165 pounds. He runs much bigger than that.
Excellent run by Maury Norston, and he gets the ball. It's actually second and a very short 5 yards to go. They can make a first down inside the 1-yard line. Gabruk looks to the air, throws over the middle, and knocked away. Receiver slipped, I think, at the end, so did the defender, and Saskatchewan will likely have to go for the field goal. So Calgary just clinging to life here, dodging bullets all over the place.
Looking to Corey Flaman coming across on a quick in. You see
Flaman fell down, and actually Flaman made a great play to knock it away.
Yeah, look like he could have been picked off here.
Watch Flaman reach in from the ground and slap the ball away. And they're going to go for it. I said they would go for the field goal. 3rd down inside the 5-yard line. Again, they have to get inside the 1 for a first down. Norston on the backfield, so Gabruk's by himself. Gabruk looking for Prokop in the end zone. He's going to try to run penalty down. Gabruk in for the touchdown, but a penalty down, and then a marker at the very, very end of the play.
Yeah, it's going to be holding against Saskatchewan.
Markers came down at 2 separate times. Gabruk did a great job to turn the corner. I thought he'd throw to Prokop, who was open in the end zone. No throw. And certainly a holding. Saskatchewan.
Number 3 for Saskatchewan.
I'm interested on the call by Brian Towers, though. Make that 3rd down and 5 yards to go.
Well, I think it kind of tells you that they don't have much confidence right now in their kicking game.
Especially when you've got the ball on the 5. In theory, that's about as makeable a field goal as you can get. So what do they do now? I mean,
well, Jason Olenek ran out on the field, so I think they were looking at attempting a field goal now because I don't think they're going to go for it here.
Except with Olenek, you can't tell because he's a receiver as well. So I'm not sure the decision's being made, and they are going to kick. But like you say, is it a punt? And likely not. 15-yard line is the line of scrimmage, actually just inside the 15. And certainly, if you're Calgary, you're defending against the fake as well. All kinds of player movement now for the Dinosaurs, trying to get guys off the field and on, and they do so successfully.
And Colin Ryu, the holder, is, of course, the backup quarterback. So
yeah, you've got to look for that. And Ryu gets it down. Olenek gets it up, and Olenek drills it through. So the field goal game may not be their best, but on this day, most things are working, and the Saskatchewan Huskies get 3. But I guess if you're the Dinosaurs on that play, you're pretty happy about it because they gave up the ball at the 10-yard line.
it's a good job by Colin Ryu. The ball was snapped up behind him, gets it down, spins the lace. Olenek puts it through.
Okay, let's go back to Brent Schneider, nominee for the Heck Crichton, down with a knee injury. You tell us about your knee. If your team continues playing, could you be back next week?
Well, I'm right now. It's not anything's definite. You know, I'm progressing really well, and I'm working real hard towards getting a chance to come back sometime. So I don't know right now.
Aston throws the ball, knocked away. He kind of underthrew John Field, who was breaking clear for a time, but a good recovery by the defender.
Now the wind is starting to pick up here a little bit, and it's right in Jason Aston's face, but the ball is thrown late. This ball has to be thrown a lot sooner than that, because by the time the ball's thrown, Field is down 30 yards downfield.
So, Brent, let's get back to Rich Gabrook. Did you admit to us that you were a bit surprised by how incredibly well he's played?
Well, you know, I guess in some ways based on the fact that he hasn't played a lot of quarterback, but like I said, his maturity level is really high, and he's handling the entire situation really well, and I don't expect any less from him.
Aston sprints out, and he's got a man, and it is out of bounds. He tried to get the feet down. Number 20, Don Blair. He got him down and made the catch, but I believe was on the line.
And this is a guy, I think, if Calgary are going to make any kind of a comeback today, they've got to get the ball in this guy's hands. Makes a nice catch, but you can see when he comes down, he is out of bounds.
Ooh, he got the toes down. You bet he was out of bounds. A great try by Don Blair. Made 53 receptions, set a school record with 1,033 yards, but so far they've done a nice job on Don Blair. So Calgary's got to give it up. They were impressive in their first drive. They picked up a field goal. Since then, they have had trouble with this big, strong, veteran Saskatchewan defense. And kicking into a breeze will be Bruce Parsons. Parsons, short kick. And he gets a decent bounce, 33-yard kick, 5 yards on the return. Good field position again for the Saskatchewan Huskies. Brent, I asked you the question. I'm not sure what your answer was there because we got back to play. When could you be back in the lineup?
Well, I'm not really sure at this point. You know, I've progressed really well over the last 3 weeks, and it's feeling really good, and I'm getting a lot of my movement back. But it's still a ways away, but I'm going to keep trying real hard, and hopefully I will get back soon.
And it's a torn medial collateral ligament?
Yeah, that's what it was. It probably wasn't as bad as first thought it was, but you know, it still needs its time.
Brent, we'd love to see you back there. Thanks very much, and congratulations on a terrific year.
Thanks a lot.
Saskatchewan Huskies nominee for the Heck Crichton Trophy, and from the West, Brent Schneider, and he watches his team and his offense rolling without him. Maury Norston, the running, the guy who's done most of the running, picked up 3 or 3.5 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
I'm really impressed with this offensive line. They are really getting off the football. They run a little bit of a pitch there. David Fisher, the guard, gets outside and just puts a great block downfield. This is a team that really believes in itself. Their offense, it doesn't really matter, obviously, who's playing a quarterback. They're doing a great job for Rich Gabrook.
And he's doing a great job for them as well, throwing the ball really, really well. He's been on target. 4 for 6 for Gabrook, but one pass, perhaps his best pass of the day, was dropped in the end zone. 2nd down and 7. Gabrook looks over the middle, and he's got a man, and it goes through the hands of the receiver and off the helmet of the defensive back. Greg Heisey moved up there, and I think it went right off his head.
Well, see, the receivers for Saskatchewan are looking right back into the sun, and the sun is setting very low. You can see the long shadows. Goes right through his hands, hit Heisey right in the head. He was coming in to make the big hit on Johnson.
Well, in fairness to Heisey, as they look back into the sun, it's difficult for our camera to really pick up what they are seeing, but the sun is bright. It's a terrific day for football, but it kind of makes it tough on a play like that. And Saskatchewan will kick it away once again. Let's see if their punting game is better than their field goal kicking game. And Gabrook, the punter, hits it short, fielded very nicely and athletically by number 20, Don Blair, and he hurdled over a man, and Calgary gets better field position. They'll have the ball at the 41-yard line when we return to Griffith Stadium. Right now, it's Saskatchewan out in front by 14. Welcome back, 9:15 to play in the second quarter. It's the championship of the West since 1988. The West has always gone to one of these two teams, Saskatchewan or Calgary. Calgary's won the last two, but they trail at 17-3. Jason Asson and the Calgary Dinosaurs with the ball at their own 41-yard line. Asson's numbers, not bad. But he needs to get the ball to Don Blair, their outstanding receiver. Chris Lewis, their outstanding runner, plows ahead. And Lewis, I believe, is going to pick up 10 and a first down. Actually, he may be a half-yard short of the first down, but a nice hole on the right side there for Calgary.
And a good surge by the offensive line, getting off the ball. Chris Lewis gets up the field. Bagnall has to come in and make the tackle, makes him pay for it. But I think they have to get the ball into Don Blair's hands. I mean, he was a big receiver this year, the first receiver ever to go over 1,000 yards, and he is yet to have a reception in this game.
Blair wide to the right. That's the top of the screen. Second down and inches to go. Be a great time to go deep to Blair, but they go to Lewis. Chris Lewis turns it upfield, and Lewis hooked from behind on a nice tackle by Warren Uzika. And he reaches in and brings him down, but a first down for the Calgary Dinosaurs. And yes, there are a few Dinos fans here. Not many, but a few. And it's a cool day, but not the kind of day that would force dinosaurs into extinction. Actually, a great day for football.
Beautiful day.
Forecast was for about +3, which in Saskatoon at this time of year, you certainly be pretty happy with. First down for Calgary. Asson looks for a man, and he's got a receiver, and it goes right through the hands of his receiver, who was wide open, John Field.
Well, it went through the hands of Don Blair, and Field standing behind Don Blair is right in the same sight lines for Jason Asson, and Field almost gets this ball right through Don Blair's hands there. Look at Field right behind.
Exactly, I had those two backwards. It was through the hands of Blair, who is really an explosive receiver, not just to make the catch, but after the catch is when it really starts to get interesting. Blair wide to the right. Asson looks back to the left, and Asson pulls it down, and he's brought down from behind, turns it over. Husky football at midfield. We could see it from a mile away, but Asson could not. He was running, looking for a receiver, slowed up, and a man hooked him from behind, and the Huskies have got the ball back.
And take a look, Jason Asson's looking, nothing's open now, but watch who comes, number 77, Joe Saul. The leading sacker in Canada West with 10 sacks this year. That's number 11 right there. Causes a fumble as well.
And that could be an absolutely crucial turnover. Now, the Dinosaurs appear to be getting their footing back after struggling. They had a nice drive going, but Saskatchewan gets the ball right back. 4 receivers to the left. That's where they're going to throw to Prokop. Prokop. It looked like there may have been a face mask on the play. No call. I could see Brian Towers at the top of your screen kind of waving. He wanted the call, but Prokop picked up about 2. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, an interesting change now for Calgary. They're starting to get the heat up. They're starting to come with some people and some linebackers. They feel now that they cannot sit in that base defense and play against Saskatchewan. They have to make some things happen, and they try to run a little slip screen inside to carry Prokop. But I think you're going to see the Dinos trying to heat it up here and try and make some things happen on defense.
And you know that a Calgary team is always well coached and will react and make adjustments to what the opposition has come out and done. 17-3. Midway through the second quarter, Gabrook looks for Johnson. Johnson seemed to have a step on his man, but overthrown, and Saskatchewan will have to punt it away. Well, look at Joe Saul on the bench. Saul, 10 sacks to lead the conference, but he was not a conference all-star.
That's incredible. I think he was the leading sacker in the nation. 10 sacks. I think the next closest to him was Trent Schmulin, who was number 5 for the University of Calgary. But what a great size for an outside linebacker. 6'4", 202 pounds.
Rich Gabrook, this is what he had done for the past couple of years for the Saskatchewan Huskies before he turned into their key man at quarterback. And Gabrook hangs it up for Don Blair. It's a great kick returner. Let's see what he can do. And he gets a block, but unfortunately for Calgary, it's a block from behind. And the Dinosaurs will be forced back even more. They'll start from inside their 20-yard line, trailing at 17-3. 6:06 to play in the first half. Michael Landsberg stepping in for Gord Miller, who's in Vancouver for tonight's CFL game, and a great time to jump in for the Canada West game between the Dinosaurs and the Huskies.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
First down.
Well, the footing for these athletes pretty good right now. It was cold and snowy for most of the week here in Saskatoon, but the last couple of days have been clear and the field conditions ideal for the Canada West Championship game. Now, I thought there was a penalty against Calgary. The penalty was actually no yards against Saskatchewan, so the Dinosaurs get the ball at the 40. Chris Lewis got a lead blocker, and Lewis brought down from the ground. David Guthrie on the ground reached up and brought him down.
Well, that's a big-time play by David Guthrie, the outside linebacker. Nice job.
Nice job, especially since there was room for Chris Lewis as he was turning it upfield. Lots of room.
They get their offensive line around the corner, and you can see he has contained. He does a nice job of getting the shoestring tackle. He gets around there. There's some room.
Fine tackle by Guthrie. 2nd down and 9 for the Calgary Dinosaurs. 17-3, they trail it. Asson stops, looks, got a man, Lewis, and Lewis drops the ball, and he was thinking of turning it up and reaching into what was ample territory there in front of him. Lewis was uncovered as he broke out of the backfield. They had exactly the right play.
They had the right play called. This is one you have to squeeze. If he squeezes this and turns it up the field, he's got a lot of yards before any Saskatchewan defenders. You can't see anybody in the shot.
Not the kind of a mistake that Calgary could afford to make, trailing at 17-3. 5:22 to play in the first half.
And not the kind of mistakes Calgary normally makes either. This is usually they seem to be a little flat in the first half here so far.
Parsons will kick into the wind. This time he keeps it low and drives it and gets the benefit of a bounce. Wist brings it out to the 45-yard line, and that's where the Saskatchewan Huskies will begin. They were dynamite offensively. The last few times they've struggled. They'll get the ball. Since Brian Towers took over the program 11 years ago, football has just soared here at the University of Saskatchewan. It is a great day for football and a great crowd on hand. The Canada West Championship game between the Saskatchewan Huskies and the Calgary Dinosaurs. The Dinosaurs have won the last 2 Canada West titles. They went to the Vanier Cup last year and lost in what may have been the game of the year in any football to the U of T Blues. They'd love to make it back again, but right now it's Brian Towers' Huskies out in front 17-3. They've got the ball at their 44-yard line. Gabruk sends Norston out of the backfield. Slavic, the only one behind them. Gabruk's going to go to the air. He throws, and he's got Norston knocked away. Outstanding defense coming over the top by Peter Hardy. I saw the official. I was looking to see if he would reach into his pocket for the flag, but Hardy made the fine play.
Well, Patrick Hardy is the corner. Now, this is a ball that has to be drilled into the seam. You can't float it that way. Hardy comes over.
That is really close play.
Maury Norston to make the play. But you can't float it up in there because he's the corner, and the ball's in the air so long that he had the opportunity to come back inside and knock it away.
Should he have thrown it earlier as well?
Earlier and with something more on it.
Gabruk certainly has the arm strength to do that. 2nd down and 10. Gabruk has cooled off. He was 4 for 4 at one time. Now he steps up and throws for Flamin, and perfectly covered. Double coverage. And so this game kind of changing now, really evolving early on. There was 2 great drives by Saskatchewan and a nice one by Calgary, but now 2 good defenses starting to assert themselves with 4:20 to play in the first half.
Well, Calgary's starting to play a lot better defense in the secondary right now. They're bringing in Phil Schnell as well as their nickel back. And
here's Gabruk. Again, he was 4 for 4 at one time, but since then 2 for 9. But still hasn't thrown an interception this year, and that is very impressive for a guy who has played very limited football at quarterback. And Gabruk runs and then hammers a punt nicely. It was a weird play. I didn't think he was under that much pressure to run the ball, but he sprinted out and got a nice spiral. Blair returns it to the 37-yard line, and that's where the Dinos will begin.
Be it on defense or be it on special teams, it's time to try to come and block the kick of Rich Gabruk. Ryan Williams gets in there free. Slavic knocks him away at the last moment. Gabruk thought he had a free rein to him, but good play to get this one away. He thinks it might be blocked, hauls it down. Now he kicks it.
Sometimes it pays to have an athletic punter, and Gabruk certainly is that. And as a result, he sprinted out here, and on the run, he got a very nice kick.
It's actually a good job by Jeff Slavik to come back and pick off Ryan Williams.
38-yard line. The Calgary Dinosaurs have the ball with 4 minutes exactly remaining in the first half. They trail it by a score of 17-3. Assen throws, and Assen throws it down low. Safe pass to Kevin Klein. Klein with a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Calgary really hasn't got into a rhythm. They had a nice drive first time they had the ball. They picked up the field goal. Since then, they've dropped a few passes, had a few penalties.
And you see what they're doing now. They're not going with they're going with the no-huddle offense right now. I think that's to try to pick up the tempo for this team. They're a little bit sluggish. Now they want to try and establish themselves and get some momentum.
2nd down and short, but Assen's going to go to the air, and Assen pulls it down. Is he going to run? No, he's going to throw, and downfield one-on-one coverage, and it's picked off. There were 2 guys down there. Don Blair looked to the official, but just excellent, aggressive defense, and the turnover, and a penalty back in the Calgary backfield. It's going to be rough play against Saskatchewan. What a penalty that is. It's going to be roughing the passer against the Saskatchewan Huskies.
Now, I guess it depends. No, it's going to be 1st down Calgary.
That is a huge penalty.
Unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer, 3-7.
Roughing the passer is the call. And instead of Saskatchewan getting the ball at their own 30-yard line, the Dinosaurs have the ball at the 49, and again, they take no huddle. Assen probably unwisely threw that ball. Blair was very well covered. Perhaps he could have run, but it doesn't matter now because of the penalty. Assen to the air again, throws, and well covered, and a penalty comes down very late. You hear the groans from Saskatchewan and from the Saskatchewan bench. I didn't see any interference on that.
No, I think I would debate that one. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. That can't be pass interference.
And that ball was thrown well behind the receiver, who was cutting over the middle, stopped and tried to reach back, but that is going to be the call against the Saskatchewan Huskies. So this drive being very much kept alive.
Number 22, Saskatchewan.
Penalties. And these 2 penalties have given the Dinosaurs the ball at the 41-yard line in what could be a very important drive. Take a look at it. Well, tough to say whether the call is a good one, but the result is certainly a good one for Calgary. And the reception made by number 90, Kevin Klein, who went up high. He's got the ball at the 34-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6 at 2nd down and 4.
Well, it seems to have worked for Calgary. They're starting to get their offense on track right now, throwing the ball fairly effectively. A couple of penalties helping them out here and there as well.
Still haven't got the ball to Don Blair, the leading receiver, more than 1,000 yards. Blair in the slot on the right side. And they're going to keep the ball on the ground, and the big fullback plowing ahead and taking a shot from Trent Bagnall is Gene Stahl. Stahl has got the 1st down. Some tough running by the fullback up the middle.
And they've been running a little bit of the sprint draw. Again, they run sprint draw to Gene Stahl. Gene Stahl doesn't carry the ball very much, only 27 carries this season. Takes a big shot from Trent Bagnall.
1st down, Calgary Dinosaurs. They trail it 17-3. 3:06 to play in the first half. Calgary working without the huddle, and it's worked so far on this drive. The ball right at the 30-yard line, and Assen throws. He's got Chris Lewis out of the backfield, and Lewis puts the head down and drives inside the 20-yard line down to the 19th. Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
This is a nice play. They just flood that one side of the defense. Saskatchewan like to play a lot of zone coverage. People drop out. They take Lewis out into the flat, and Jason Assen delivers a strike to him. Bang, gets him the ball early. Now he allows him to turn up the field. Louis Simon has to come in and make the tackle, along with Mike Stewart.
I was wrong. I said he had picked up 6. He actually picked up 11. 1st down for the Dinosaurs as they are on the prowl right now. The Dinosaurs, Assen rolls back to the backside. He's got a man wide open, number 5, and the end zone is right there. John Field, and it's incomplete. Penalties in the backfield, in the end zone, all over the place. Now that was a wild play. Field See if you can see Field waving. No. There he is. He's waving wildly for the ball. The ball hangs up in the air. Field gets hit right there. He ended up dropping the ball after making a reception, so it would have been a touchdown. I gather they're calling rough play in the end zone, but there's a penalty against Calgary as well. It's going to be holding against the Dinosaurs. It's going to be rough play against Saskatchewan.
So there'll be no touchdown.
Illegal block. Calgary, rough play after the touchdown. There's no first down.
So, when you add it up, holding against Calgary, Saskatchewan, the rough play, it's a 5-yard net gain and a first down for the Calgary Dinosaurs, which means they have the ball at the 14-yard line. Acid fakes to Lewis, looks into the end zone and throws it short, dumps it off, and a touchdown! Calgary Dinosaurs, beautiful pass to Ryan Williams, and I love the way Acid looked into the end zone, then went to the short man, Ryan Williams, for the score.
Very well executed play. They have catch. Saskatchewan are playing man coverage just close to their own end zone. Aston does a nice job of play action pass. They bring Ryan Williams across the formation. He puts the ball right in the money. Louise Simon is man-to-man coverage. And Calgary's back in this football game.
Right back in this football game. Now, you were saying, I think it was during a commercial break, you were saying, boy, has Calgary ever dodged a bullet. They could have been out of this football game, but instead they hung in there somehow, and right now they are right back in it with 2:38 to play. Bruce Parsons' conversion cuts the lead to 17-10. So an outstanding drive by the Calgary Dinosaurs, again with the benefit of 3 penalties against Saskatchewan. Take a look at it one more time as Aston originally looked deep into the end zone to John Field, who was lined up to the right side.
But this play action pass really holds people right in here. See, they're all looking at Chris Lewis. Saul stops his pass rush, gives Aston all sorts of time, and you can bring a receiver across the formation. And Louise Simon doesn't have the speed to stay with Ryan Williams.
Nice protection by the Calgary offensive line, and such an important drive for the Dinosaurs. So the game began this way. Saskatchewan with 2 terrific drives in the first quarter. A third led to a field goal. It was 17-3. They had other opportunities to get the ball into the end zone. They had a drop pass in the end zone. Somehow they simply couldn't break the game open, and right now Calgary is right back in it. Again with 2.5 to play in the first half. The CWUAA championship game. I think I had an extra letter in there, did I?
No, that's correct.
Okay. Calgary Dinosaurs against the Saskatchewan Huskies. The Dinosaurs, impressive in that drive to be sure. Kelly Wist and Maury Norston back for the Saskatchewan Huskies, although the ball hasn't made it that far so far. This time it's a little deeper, and Norston's going to try to see this one go out of bounds, and it does go out of bounds.
It's unusual to see Bruce Parsons kick the ball straight on. He's a sidewinder normally, but he's approaching the ball dead on.
His change of style, I think maybe because of the breeze that he's kicking into, trying to keep it low.
Yep.
The wind has certainly increased. It's not a big
kick
factor.
off out of bounds, re-kick.
Scoring drive for the Calgary Dinosaurs, their first of the game into the end zone, 72 yards. The final 14 on an excellent pass from Aston to Ryan Williams. It took 137, but the most important 137 of this game, to be sure, for the Calgary Dinosaurs. And Parsons will kick it off again from the 40-yard line. I think if I was Saskatchewan, I'd get something in a little bit more intermediate territory. Norston and Wist are back deep. But it's the short guys that might get the bulk of the work here. Parsons hits a knuckleball, and Maury Norston waits for it, has to go off his ankle, and now Wist picks it up or tries to, and the live grenade, finally he falls on it at the 24-yard line. There was ample time for a return, but by the time they had bobbled it a few times, They simply fall on the ball, and the Saskatchewan Huskies now start deep in their own territory.
It's going to be a big,
24-yard line.
sorry, Michael, this is going to be a big series for Saskatchewan's offense. They really haven't done much in the last few times they've had the footballs. We see them dribble the ball around, and Kelly Wish jumps on it.
I agree with you, and I get the feeling that this is a great opportunity for the Calgary defense to maybe create a turnover and put some pressure on the inexperienced quarterback, Rich Gabrook. He has not thrown an interception so far. Gabrook's numbers, though, great in the first quarter, not so good in the second quarter. They keep the ball on the ground in Norston, and Norston turns upfield, and he has got lots of running room. Saskatchewan has blocked superbly for Maury Norston so far today.
And it's so deceiving because it doesn't look like he's picking up very much yardage, but he's picking up 7, 8 yards a crack when they run these kind of plays. And I think Brian Towers has decided that he was having fairly good success rushing the ball in the first quarter. He should go back to a little bit more. They had 112 yards rushing.
Norston approaching the 100-yard mark, and certainly an important 6 there. Second down and 4 yards to go. A key 4 yards. 2:13 to play. The Dinosaurs would love to force Saskatchewan to punt. They fake to Norston, dump it out of the backfield, and they got a man wide open. Jeff Slavic wide open, and a very important first down for the Huskies. Slavic out to the 48-yard line.
And the reason this play works so well is that Slavic goes right at Mike Nightingale. It looks like he's going to have the kick-out block, freezes Nightingale, and then he runs by him. You see number 42 chasing him outside.
Brian Towers perhaps taking a little pressure off his quarterback. They came out, they ran the ball on first down, and they throw it a short pass to the fullback Slavic. Now the toss to Maury Norston. Norston turns it upfield and again makes something out of nothing. He picked up 4. It'll be second down and 6, but Calgary right there in his face, one of the few times they have been today.
And that's all they're trying to do when they run this. They call it a reach toss, where offensive linemen all step hard to the front side. They engage, they stretch it out, they get Slavic outside. Now they just try to let him pick his way and find the hole. Good job by Colin Newman to turn him back inside.
Big day for Norston. First half stats almost 100 yards. Key second down play now. Second down and 6. With 1:40 to play. Here's the rush for the outside penalty marker down. Prokop searches for the first down, and he has got it, but let's wait for the call. Somebody was offside. The timing of the penalty certainly indicated. The flags came down with the snap of the ball. I believe it's going to be offside against Calgary, and that indeed is the call. Saskatchewan will decline it. So 2 very, very important first downs for Saskatchewan.
Top of your screen.
First down.
Rob Richards jumps, as well as Craig Simpson.
1:33 to play in the first half. Saskatchewan with the ball at the Calgary 48-yard line. First and 10. Gabrook draw play, Maury Norston. Norston tripped up. Excellent tackle by the middle linebacker who slid over Mike Nightingale. Otherwise, Norston had big territory.
This was a big play. They very successfully throwing the ball. Now they decide to run the draw, but Nightingale scrapes across and makes a nice tackle.
So Norston's gain is 3. It does put him over the 100-yard mark. It'll be second down and 7 for Saskatchewan. 1:15 to play, the clock ticking. So Saskatchewan, in a lot of ways, has already accomplished what it set out to do, and that is run some time off the clock and not give it back to Calgary. Let's see if they keep the ball conservative on the ground. They fake to Norston. Gabrook has got all kinds of room. He can run if he wants to. He pulls the ball down, now hesitates and runs, and he's got a first down. So he was unsure of what he wanted to do. Eventually, he did run and did it well.
And, you know, it's actually a very smart play by Rich Gabrook, calling a timeout right now. The reason it was, Calgary playing man underneath, zone on top, and he's looking at Blackburn the whole way, but Colin Newman has got him covered, and he does the right thing. He doesn't throw the ball up. Newman's a pretty cagey defensive back. He's an all-Canadian. He was daring Gabrook to throw it to him. Gabrook does a smart thing here, shows some poise, says, no, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to try and get some yardage, and he does a nice job, slides down and gets the first down.
What's interesting about Gabrook is, as an inexperienced quarterback who can run the ball, he still doesn't look to run first. He did not want to run the ball there. He wanted to pass the ball, and we saw that from him before. He does run, but he looks to pass first, which is what a coach mostly wants.
Absolutely, and he showed great poise as well. Knowing the situation that, hey, I can get the first down, and you see Brent Schneider right in the middle. He's got some headphones on as well, helping out.
Are those our headphones or his headphones?
I think there is.
You can see also the size difference between Gebrook and Schneider. Gebrook, a big, tall kid who has great vision, able to see the entire field because of his size. And as a result, they have not missed a beat. Schneider, Heck-Brighton nominee from the West, has an injured knee. He would like to return this season, of course. And the key for that, of course, is his knee healing. And also Saskatchewan remaining alive, but they've got a great drive going now. 46 seconds to play in the first half. 17-10 for Saskatchewan. Keep in mind also the Huskies don't have much of a field goal kicking game, so they're probably at this point thinking touchdown, not field goal territory. Gebrook all kinds of time, throws over the middle, and it's dropped. Prokop was right there, a marker down deep in Calgary territory.
And it's holding against Calgary, defensive holding.
Prokop, usually a very sure-handed receiver, simply dropped the ball on an excellent strike from Rich Gebrook. So it'll be a first down for the Saskatchewan Huskies at the 27.
Number 34, White. First down.
It's Rob Isaac, nickel back. And you said it normally catches the ball well in his hands, but he didn't use his hands. He tried to use his body, and he tried to get the deflection.
But Saskatchewan gets a break with the first down. 27-yard line, 40 seconds to play. Clock not moving because of the penalty. Again, they fake the draw play, and he throws over the middle, and this time Prokop made the call, the catch. It started to slip out of his hands. An outstanding pass by Rich Gebrook.
Well, he shows that he can put some mustard on that football. We've seen him throw some nice balls with touch earlier. Now he really puts something on it. Kerry Prokop lines up inside and then runs the post. Bang, is a good move. Turns Dan Jeremiah around, gets separation. Goes up, makes sure of the catch.
He bobbled it once, but he did make the catch.
And a good job of wrapping it up, putting both hands over the ball. Don't want to have a turnover down here deep in Calgary territory.
But like you say, that was a fastball from Rich Gebrook, and it was a perfect one, and Prokop took it down to the 15-yard line.
With 30 seconds left in the first half. It's been a very big drive for Saskatchewan. Very nice clock management so far.
Saskatchewan began this drive at their 24-yard line. So a terrific drive, and here's a look at perhaps the injury to the Calgary Dinosaur. It was Phil Schnell, I believe, a nickel DB, as you said before, who came in. I think it's Schnell on the ground, number 25.
Phil Schnell, he started the game that we did against University of Alberta. Pat Hardy was out with an injury, and Rob Kidd was over at the corner. But with Patrick Hardy back, Heisey goes back to safety.
I think it's his own man. Yeah, you bet it was. It was his own man, Greg Heisey, fellow defensive back, whose knee went into his head, and Schnell gets rattled. He'll come out of the game, and the Saskatchewan Huskies have the ball just at the Calgary 15-yard line. First down and 10 with exactly 30 seconds to play. 17-10, the Huskies lead the Dinosaurs. 30 seconds to play in the first half. Keep an eye on Prokop in the slot to the right. 3 receivers wide to the right. They fake the ball to Norston each time in this drive. This time they're going to pitch it to him. Maury Norston cuts to the outside, makes a move, and breaks a couple of tackles. The first guy simply never seems to be able to bring Maury Norston down. He picked up 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Again, they like to run that reach toss. Again, they take Slavik out, but a nice job by Colin Newman. Corner comes up, and he tries to get the initial hit, but he forces him again back inside. Now all the help, the pursuit comes in. See Dan Jeremiah comes in, the linebackers as well.
Saskatchewan's taken a timeout, their second and last timeout, so Gebrook will go over and talk it over with his coach, Brian Towers.
I'm sure Brian Towers is not only telling him what plays they might want to run, but also explaining once again, giving him a little bit of a crash course on when the clock starts and stops.
And also, you know, so much of this drive, the consideration has to be the fact that they have little or no confidence in their field goal team. We saw 3rd down and 5 yards to go from the 6, and they went for it. So electing not to go for the field goal. So we would think that that would figure in their strategy here. Second down, and called it a long 5 or a short 6.
Tony Fasano, the defensive coordinator for Calgary, giving Mike Nightingale final instructions.
Sure, they would love to get some pressure and someone in the face of Rich Gabrook, who has really been outstanding today and hot on this drive. Gabrook, nobody in his face. He's got lots of time. Throws over the middle. He's got Johnson. Johnson very close to the first down. I mean, he needed to make it just inside the 5-yard line. Now, there's no question they'll go for it, but time a factor. 11 seconds to play. Now, this is interesting. Has he got the first down? No indication yet.
Well, this is actually good for Saskatchewan because it gives them some time to regroup here now, and Gabrook looks over to the sidelines to get some more instructions. This is almost as good as a timeout as they call for the measurement.
It's an inch either way. He had to make it just over the 5-yard line. I think he may have it by the nose of the ball. Now, once upon a time, I was pretty good at that. Looks like he's got it by the nose of the ball. So first down, Saskatchewan Huskies.
Now the clock will start as soon as they set those sticks again.
Now the key here is they want to get 2 plays in. If he takes too long, there's 11 seconds to play. They'll only, well, they would get the 2 probably anyway, since as long as there's some time left after this play, they get another one, but they want to get into the end zone. 7 seconds and counting. He throws over the middle and a touchdown. Prokop took a hit, but he's got the score, and the Saskatchewan Huskies get the 7 they dearly wanted.
It's been Calgary's inability to cover the receivers inside this afternoon that has created all sorts of problems for them. Once again, Prokop works inside against Dan Jeremiah. There's a little move outside, cuts it back inside, swim move. What a nice job by Kerry Prokop.
You know what? That was a gorgeous move. I mean, he really sold the outside, went inside. Prokop for the score, and what a drive that turned out to be for the Saskatchewan Huskies. And again, Olenek gets it through, not without a struggle, and I mean, he has not cleared the upright by more than 4 feet, I don't think, on any of his conversion attempts. Could be one of the first guys to have a convert short. But Prokop with 6 receptions, 74 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He scored the first touchdown of the game, and he's got the final score of the first half. 4 seconds to play, and what a drive that was. It began from the 24-yard line of the Saskatchewan Huskies. And keep in mind, with 2:30 to play, we were talking about Calgary defensively, wanting to force Saskatchewan upon and then getting the ball back. And they'll get the ball back, but perhaps with no time left on the clock.
Well, what Saskatchewan ended up doing was taking away any momentum that Calgary really had started to establish offensively and put together a beautiful drive.
That really was a beautiful drive, as you say. Norston on the ground, effective, and then through the air, Rich Gabrook. Prokop with a number of catches. Slavic out of the backfield as well. Rich Gabrook has bounced back. He was 4 for 4 at one time, then missed a few, and now he's right back on track. And Saskatchewan kicks it off, and this should be the final play as Calgary tries to get something going, and they won't do it. That is it for the first half. It began with 2 great drives by the Saskatchewan Huskies, and they finish off with a beautiful drive that answers the drive by Calgary. Kerry Prokop and Rich Gabrook will go off together, and boy, did those 2 ever combine for a terrific first half.
Oh, it was absolutely great first half, and I think that, you know, the more Rich Gabrook plays in these kind of games and the more he plays and has success, the more confidence he's obviously going to get. And you can see he showed great poise and numerous times in the first half, especially in that drive with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left to get them into the end zone. Super.
It was a great drive. The Dinosaurs scored, but Saskatchewan bounces right back. And as a result, at the end of one half, it's the Huskies 24 and the Dinos 10. It is a great day for football, and Saturdays in the afternoon at the University of Saskatchewan, people think football. They also think championships. It's Saskatchewan versus Calgary as they play for the CWUAA championship. Vanier Cup 2 weeks away, and one of the interesting things and exciting things about the Vanier Cup are the awards handed out in the week before. The nominees for the outstanding awards have been named in the 2 conferences right now, 2 of the 4, and let's run them down for you. First of all, in the CWUAA, the West, the nominee for the Heck Crichton as outstanding player is Brent Schneider. What a year for Schneider. 8 touchdown passes in just over a half in one game, but he is hurt right now. Top rookie, Peter Gorman Trophy, James Pesci from Saskatchewan. J.P. Metris for top lineman, Trent Schmulin from Calgary. Boy, did they need some help defensively, and he gave them help defensively with lots of graduations. President's Trophy, top defensive player, linebacker Wade Miller from Manitoba. In the OQ, the nominees look like this. The little man had a big season. What a year for Steve Papp from McGill. What a terrific receiver. He's the Heck Crichton nominee for most valuable player. Peter Gorman Trophy, top rookie, Sean Linden. J.P. Metris, Paul Connery from Bishops. In the President's Trophy, top defensive player, Luc Pellan of Concordia. So we're starting to talk about the Vanier Cup and getting the feel for the Vanier Cup. The Calgary Dinosaurs have won 3 Vanier Cups in their history, including 1985 when they were led by a man named Lou Lorick, their quarterback.
We knew coming in that Western had a powerful offensive team. They had a great passing game, great quarterback in Steve Samways, and they took the opening drive and went right down the field and scored a touchdown. We were a little, I don't know if shaken would be the word, but a little on the sideline standing there. We were just, you know, a little wary. But I think we blocked the convert, and that gave us a little bit of confidence. Our defense was specifically our pass rush was forcing him into a lot of hurried passes and knockdowns, you name it. And I wouldn't have liked to you know, been in his shoes.
What we can do now is took the words right out of my mouth. You got to put it in the end zone. Lorick slipped, but he got the pass away. Touchdown, Calgary.
I've always felt that when the field conditions are like that, it's to the benefit of the offense, specifically in the passing game. The receivers know where they're going. And one foul up by the defensive guy, and you have a wide open receiver for a big gain. I've always felt that bad field is definitely to the benefit of the offensive team.
And the lights are about to go out on the University of Western Ontario. Lorick puts it in the end zone. Randy Guy makes the adjustment for the touchdown.
I can remember vividly that at that point, that might have been my best memory of that Vanier Cup. Is not necessarily relief, but it was just the sweetness of winning. We did it on our own terms. We were the underdogs. And really, you know, I'd sort of made up my mind that that was going to be it for me in terms of football. And it was just a wonderful way to finish.
Lou Lorick was in a tough position that year, replacing a legend, Greg Vavra, but he did it so very well. This year's Vanier Cup on TSN, make note of the times. The pregame show, 2 o'clock Eastern time, and the kickoff, 2:48 Eastern. It's the Vanier Cup live from the Sky Dome in Toronto. Welcome back. It is a pleasure to meet the president of the University of Saskatchewan, George Ivany. George, now some presidents spend a lot of time in their office and not much in the football field. You're a huge football fan, aren't you?
I guess I am a little bit of an athletic supporter with all of our sports teams here in Saskatchewan.
Now, let's talk about today. We'll get to the politics and all of that other stuff, but play analyst right now. You have to be really happy with the first half for your team.
Very good half. Started very strong, went a little slack in the second quarter, but regained that momentum, I think, before the half ended.
Sums it up pretty well. You want to do color commentary?
Well, I think I probably would flunk that test.
I don't think so. I don't know about that. You know, this program here really is something to be proud of. Brian Towers has been here now for more than a decade, but it seems each and every year the program is there, the fans are there, there's excitement on Saturdays.
Brian is an excellent coach, but more than that, he's a great gentleman and represents our university fantastically well. I think any parent would want their kid to play for a coach like this.
But also as a university president, you have to appreciate the fact that he seems to see the big picture. It's not just football with him, is it?
Sure, it's not just win and lose. He likes to win. We all like the team to win, but Brian sees that sports program as part of the overall development of our young people, and I certainly sympathize with that point of view.
Let's talk about the development of your university. I know that you've just embarked on a large fundraising campaign.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. One of the good things about our sports teams is that we generate a lot of enthusiasm among the students, among our alumni. and I suspect a lot of our alumni are watching. And yeah, we're out there doing a big capital campaign called First and Best, and all of our alumni, I'm sure, will support us in this, just like they support our teams across the country.
Now, involving the alumni and making them part, certainly of the past, but also of the present and the future, is something that you've really concentrated on, isn't it?
Indeed, yes. We've rebuilt our alumni organization in the past 5 years. We have about 3 times as many alumni in our roles now as we did 5 years ago. We've gone from about 20,000 to nearly 70,000 alumni who actively support us.
Let's talk about the second half of the football game. You know, I'm really so impressed with the play of quarterback Rich Gabrook. I mean, he was the team spawner. He played in high school, but high school for him was a long time ago. This kid has showed incredible poise.
I think he realized when he came to our program that in spite of the fact that he would have preferred quarterback, he found a niche on the team and he's played it well. He's got an opportunity here, and we're all really delighted and somewhat surprised at how well he's responded to the challenge.
Enjoyed talking to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
George Ivany, the president of the University of Saskatchewan. His Huskies playing extremely well right now. One half is done, and it's all Huskies, 24-10. Jamie Bones' first half highlights when we return to Saskatoon. Welcome back to TSN, the Saskatchewan Network. On this day, it's the Saskatchewan Huskies Network because they lead at 24-10, but keep in mind the Dinosaurs are a veteran team and they can come back, and we expect big things from them in the second half. But let's talk about the first half and big things we saw from Saskatchewan early on their first drive from the opening kickoff.
I think one of the things that's very impressive was the kind of poise that Rich Gabrook showed at playing quarterback, and one of the things that helped him out is that he decided to go to his big receiver, and that's Kerry Prokop for the very first touchdown. Gets back in the pocket, and then he looks left, then he comes back and throws a strike to Prokop to make the score 7-0 for Saskatchewan.
Prokop, the veteran in his 5th year, the second all-time leading receiver in Saskatchewan history, wants to go out a champion, and he certainly took a big step there with the first score.
Well,
from the air to the ground.
Yeah, that's right. They do it through the air, now to the ground. They give it to the big back, Maury Norriston. Does a nice job of cutting left. And then watch this nice move here. Bang, now he cuts back across the grain and gets a shoulder square, gets into the end zone. A nice job to get over Dan Jeremiah.
Really got to love his feet. They're always moving really quick feet, and as a result, he got into the end zone. Calgary finally got into the end zone late in the first half.
And play action pass really holds the linebackers and gives Jason Aston a lot of time to throw the ball. They work Williams across the formation, puts a strike right on the numbers, and Williams gets in there, and Calgary gets their first touchdown in the game.
And it looked like they were right back in the game, but the momentum was stripped away from them because of quarterback to Prokop again.
Oh, this is just a great move by Corey Prokop. Gives him the out, and then he comes back inside, a little swim move, and then he goes right upstairs, and bang, what a nice catch, and with only 4 seconds left in the half.
They've got great running and great passing, and they can do a lot of different things. So at the end of the first half, the stats look like this. First downs, 15-11. Keep in mind, though, Saskatchewan did have 11 in the first half. Total yards, 282 to 141. There's no doubt, though, turnovers were a factor, too, by the Calgary Dinosaurs. And in terms of time of possession, definitely in favor of Saskatchewan. So I guess the question that really is most important right now is how can Calgary get back in the game offensively and defensively, because right now they're in trouble.
Well, I think offensively they started to at the end of the first half. They put together a pretty good drive and they scored. Defensively, I think they're going to have to start heating it up a little bit. I think they're going to have to gamble a little bit. I don't think they can sit there and play that base defense and just let Saskatchewan get into them. I think they got to make some things happen.
They certainly got to put some pressure, don't they, on the young quarterback Gabrook, and I guess they tried to do so, but they couldn't, because Saskatchewan, when you add it all up, besides their quarterback and their running backs, have a great offensive line. And you don't have to tell the fans here today that they know that Saskatchewan football is tough, pounded ahead football, and that's what they've been playing. The second half, when we return to Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon with the Huskies out in front by 14.
Hello, everyone. I'm Crowder. He is in control with this CIAU update for you as we check in on the other conference finals being played across the country. And we'll go right now to Waterloo, where we take a look at the Ontario Conference Championship, featuring a couple of 50-year quarterbacks in this one. Heck Creighton candidate Bill Kubas, leading number 2 ranked Laurier, against Warren Goldie, number 1 ranked Western Mustangs for the Yates Cup, the Ontario title. First drive, Western quarterback Goldie drives the Mustangs down the field, goes to the middle. Sandy McGregor from 8 yards out for the touchdown, and Western were up 7-0 early. Laurier, though, replies with a field goal, but then Goldie goes to the air again. Beautiful 43-yard pass. Tight end Stuart Beek, 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for the Mustangs. 14-3 they lead, and the Western fans who made the road trip from London to Waterloo liking what they see at Seagram Stadium. But in the second quarter, Laurier begins to chip away at the Mustang lead. Here it is Greg Sweeney picking off the Warren Goldie pass. That'll set up a 34-yard field goal by Pat O'Leary. The Western lead is cut to 14-9 at halftime. Western has added a single, but Laurier has added 2 touchdowns. Zach Traynor and Peter Huang have scored in the third period. They're now in the fourth, and number 2 ranked Laurier leads Western 23-15 early fourth period, that in Waterloo. Now let's go on to Molson Stadium in Montreal. McGill hosting Bishops. First quarter, Bishops, Trevor Lovick, quarterback, the sneak, score, and he'll score easily to make it 7-0 for Bishops. Still first quarter. Bishops again, Trevor Lovick. It'll be a 9-yard pass, and on the end will be Masaki Kono. Masaki Kono will haul in this pass from Trevor Lovick to make it 14-0. In the third period, though, McGill has come back. Andy Lucetta, the quarterback, scores on a 1-yard run. It is 14-7 as they play in the third. And we do have a champion in the East. St. Mary's crushing Acadia 60-14 to win the Jewett Trophy, their third straight Atlantic title, 6th in the last 7 years. Of course, their only Vanier Cup win came back in 1973. So we know now that St. Mary's will host the Atlantic Bowl against either Calgary or Saskatchewan. You'll see that 1 p.m. next Saturday. And then, of course, the Churchill Bowl. It'll be either Western or Laurier against Bishops or McGill. You'll see both games next week right here on the CIAU network, and, of course, the Vanier Cup.
Drives lead the Calgary Stampeders by a score of 24-10. Make that the Calgary Dinosaurs by a score of 24-10. Now, there's no question that there are 2 outstanding receivers at least on the field, but there's also no question only one player had an outstanding first half. Don Blair on the season, 1,033 yards, but no yards in the first half. Really not a factor at all. And you said he was not inspired at all.
No, he didn't look very inspired. He seemed to be, when he wasn't the primary receiver, didn't really run his routes very hard. Just didn't look like he was really very enthused.
Well, whatever they have done worked. There's no question about it. And let's find out what Saskatchewan and Dan Stewart in particular had planned for Don Blair.
Don Blair is the #1 receiver on their team and their biggest offensive threat. So it will change the structure somewhat of our defense, as all the defensive backs will know where he is at all times on the field. But we can't afford to put 2 or 3 guys in them because they'll hurt us somewhere else.
Well, there's no question that they pushed all the right buttons in the first half, shutting Blair out. As for Kerry Prokop, an outstanding first half. Not only 6 receptions, but 2 touchdowns as well. And certainly he was the favorite target of his quarterback, Rich Gabrook. And if you look at the first half numbers, fairly impressive for both. But Gabrook, with less experience, had the better numbers. And still, most impressive for Gabrook, not a single interception in all the passes that he has thrown over the past couple of weeks. And Rich Gabrook feels that having a guy like Brent Schneider, perhaps the best quarterback in the country, on his side has helped.
Brent has loads of experience, and anytime you can learn from a guy like that, it's going to benefit your game. Brent's there at practice. He's helping us out even with simple things such as our drops, such as our releases, our play action, stuff like that. He's there to help us, and I'm grateful for that. I think I'm lucky to learn from a guy like him.
Look at Rich Gabrook after 1 half of play. Certainly the admiration that we have for him has only grown. He had not played regular quarterback since he was 17 years of age in high school. Since then, he's played tons of touch football, but there's a big difference between touch football and this CIAU football. So a great first half for Rich Gabrook, and a great first half for Maury Norston on the right for the University of Saskatchewan. 16 carries, 106 yards into the end zone once. On the other hand, Lewis with a decent first half, just didn't have as many carries, and as a result, not as many yards. So Chris Lewis, who is coming off the game of his life, 395 yards last week, the second greatest game in CIAU football history.
And UBC, they've really been hit this year because Brent Schneider sets a record 8 touchdown passes against UBC, and then Chris Lewis has a second all-time rushing game against UBC.
I bet that when it was announced that Lewis had the second greatest day in CIAU football history, you were one of the few people who knew had the greatest day.
That's right. Paul Brule for St. Bex back in 1966, 460 yards rushing, I believe it was.
Now, Jamie, I didn't say who it was. I just asked you whether or not you knew who it was. Yeah. How many yards did he have?
460. I believe it was against Dalhousie University. I think they beat Dal that day. They scored over 100 points.
Pretty amazing, though, when you consider that Norston or Lewis gets gets 395, and he's still 65 yards away from the all-time record. But a great day for Chris Lewis, but that was last week. This week, Lewis has been well contained by Saskatchewan, and we are set to go for what will be the final half of football for one of these teams. The Saskatchewan Huskies right now look good. They lead it by a score of 24-10. The Dinosaurs will get the ball and will be working into, I won't say a big breeze, but a reasonable breeze, as they will go right to left on your screen. And the Dinosaurs, on a short kickoff, get the ball and bring it out to the 34-yard line. One of the short guys is there to make the catch, Chris Lewis. And Lewis brings it out again to the 33-yard line, called it, and that's where the Calgary Dinosaurs will begin the second half of play.
Now, one thing about Calgary, this can be a very explosive offense. We did a game with them against University of Alberta, and they were behind for most of the game, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter really got their offense on track and ended up winning that game. This is not good news if this is serious. Chris Lewis, who carried that kickoff back, having his hand looked at, doesn't seem to be too serious, just getting up and running, coming off the field. Sean Ladder will fill in for him at least for one play.
And what was interesting is that Sean Ladder will come in. Ladder and Lewis really split the duties, and I talked to Peter Cannellan about that. He said, you know, we wanted one guy to assert himself. No one did, so we decided let's give the job to one guy and see if he can grab it, and certainly Chris Lewis did. They're not going to go to Ladder. It's going to be a pass by Asson, first down, and it's tipped. He was looking for number 5, John Field, and one of the defensive linemen got up and got a big paw in his face and knocked it away.
It's a good job by the defensive line. That's exactly what you want to do. When the quarterback takes his hand off of the ball, bang, put your hands up in the air. Boom.
Looked
nice
like
job.
It was James Repesy, and Repesy, the nominee for the Rookie of the Year award, gets his hand on the ball. Dan Farthing, Rookie of the Year for University of Saskatchewan, the only one that's won it from that school back in 1987. Went on, play for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Big rush on Asson. He steps up and he's going to try to run. Asson dumps it off, shovels it, and he's got a completion, and it will be the first of the day by Don Blair, and then Blair gets drilled.
Now it's on Trent Bagnall, number 7, the safety. Came across and gave Don Blair a shot with his shoulder when he stepped out of bounds. Again, Asson chased out of the pocket. Don Blair comes across the formation. This is a heads-up play by Asson, just kind of pitches it forward. Don Blair tries to get as much.
Unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan number 7, first down.
Right here, boom. Gives him that shoulder.
So Asson's creative play in the backfield, pulling it down and then shoveling the ball, really pays off. They picked up a first down on the play and then another 15, and that's a very important play for the Dinosaurs, who need some points. They trailed by 14. Nicely underway here in the second half of the Western final between Saskatchewan and Calgary. Chris Lewis drop play, and Lewis brought down. Repesy was in the backfield early and really disrupted the play. You can see why James Repesy is the nominee for Outstanding Rookie in this conference. He has played a very good game.
What he does so well, Michael, he locates the ball instantly. You know, he gets some penetration and then he closes. He has great lateral movement. They take out the nose tackle, Trevor Fleischfresser. Stick in another defensive back.
The gain was just over 1. Called it second down and a long 9, and Asson's going to go to the air. Asson got a man, but can he turn it up for a first down? Lewis, no, he's not going to be able to do it. He had to come back for the ball, lost all of his momentum, and Saskatchewan reacts very quickly, and Calgary will definitely have to punt it away. It'll be third down in about 6.
I mean, this is actually great defense. Just watch how Stewart comes up here, number 23, turns around, makes a great form tackle, and then Wayne Muzyka comes in and delivers a good shot.
Pretty tough on that play for Lewis, though. He had to come back for the ball and had really stopped it one time totally.
And, you know, I think this is really a disadvantage for Calgary. They are an AstroTurf team. You can see the way that they like to run things. An AstroTurf from McMahon Stadium, he would have been turned that play up fairly easy and made some more yardage. But on a grass field, it's kind of slick. He's not used to it.
Bruce Parsons to punt. And it's a terrible snap. Parsons going to have to rush to get away. Now he's got lots of room. Can he run? He is brought down. Just too slow to turn it up. He looked upfield. There was nobody there, but the man in behind brought him down. And what a huge play this is. Mike Stewart in behind brought Parsons down.
Well, the thing is, he bobbles the snap here, but I still think he has a shot to get it off. Sean Grant was there, but he wasn't going to make the play. Now Parsons decides he's going to run it. But Mike Stewart from the other side, they only rushed 2 people. He makes a tackle for a big turnover for Saskatchewan.
The thing on that play is that Parsons, perhaps just a little overly optimistic, he looked ahead and there was nobody there. I mean, there was 50 yards out in front of him, but it was the guy behind him that brought him down. And Saskatchewan gets great field position. 51-yard line. Boy, could they do some damage early in the second half. They lead it 24-10. Rich Gabrook throws, and he threw a knuckleball, a rare bad pass for Gabrook. Usually he's got some zip on it, intending it for Corey Flaman.
Well, I think he saw that Corey Flaman was going to be so wide open, they were really giving him a big cushion. He didn't really get his feet set before he threw the ball, and therefore didn't get anything really on the football. Fell a little bit short.
2nd and 10. You get the feeling Calgary cannot afford to give up another major score. They trail it 24-10 in the Western Final. Winner will go to the East to play in the Atlantic Bowl against, likely, the St. Mary's Huskies. Gabrook, nice fake, throws over the middle. Beautiful pass by Gabrook. I mean, he put that baby right on the money. What a great toss that was to Jason Johnson.
And you know, one thing about Gabrook that's interesting is that he learns throughout the game. We saw him earlier when he tried to throw a pass to Maury Norriston over the middle. He kind of floated it. Not this time. He's learned from that. Play action pass, gives himself some time. It's Jason Johnson running the post, and he throws it out in front to force Johnson to come back for it in front of Greg Heisey.
You know, he's a big kid, and he's got a great offensive line. They give him great vision. He gets a good look at his receivers. As a result, 35-yard line. Norriston is going to carry the ball, and Norriston, this time, not going to be able to turn it upfield. Garrett Everson, number 76, with the tackle. Picked up just a couple of yards. That's one of the few times that Norriston has been stopped. Actually picked up, call it 3, 2nd down and 7. Very important time of the football game for the Calgary Dinosaurs. 11:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. And the Dinosaurs know that they likely cannot afford to give up another major score. They would be in really tough position then. 2nd down. The fake. Gabrook throws it. He's got Olenek, and Olenek with the catch. Another excellent pass by Gabrook, who simply laid it up, put it nice and high, and Olenek able to run down underneath it.
And you can really see the difference, though, between Gabrook and when Schneider plays. He's looking all the way at Olenek. He's not looking at anybody else. He had another receiver downfield, and that was Maury Norriston, was just blew by Mike Nightingale. But he decided to hang with Olenek, and Olenek comes down with a nice reception.
It was interesting. It looked like Olenek was well covered, but because he actually laid it out in front of him, Olenek able to run underneath it, and another 1st down for Saskatchewan inside the 10-yard line. It's goal to go for the Huskies. Norriston on the toss. Norriston stops, cuts back, and breaks 1 tackle, but not a 2nd one. Number 73 for the Calgary Dinosaurs, James Anderson with the tackle, and Norriston actually lost a yard on the play.
That's what you want from your middle linebacker. You want him to make a lot of tackles for you. And Maury Norriston forced inside, and that's what you want by Rob Richards, and then James Anderson there to wrap him up. And Norriston's a very slippery back, hard to get a hold of.
2nd down and goal to go from outside the 10-yard line. They don't like to go for the field goal, so perhaps it's 3-down territory. Knocked away. It was in and out of the hands of the defensive back, who was very aggressive on the play, Rob Isaac. Isaac had outstanding coverage.
Well, Rob Isaac almost had his 2nd interception of the year. Again, Gabrook looks back, looking inside the whole way. Just wasn't a very good pass. Probably his worst pass that he's thrown this afternoon.
Outstanding coverage, though, and that may have been a 3-point drop by Isaac. Olenek will attempt a field goal, which I don't mean this in an overly sarcastic way, but may be out of his range at 18 yards. He does have the benefit of a breeze of about 15 miles an hour behind him, and Olenek drills it through. Again, he's not getting a lot of height on the ball, and I think if I were Calgary, I'd try to get guys in the middle putting their hands up and try to block it. But the field goal is good, and that puts them up by 17. Could be very important. Stay tuned following today's game for the TSN Turning Point. Brought to you by Apple Auto Glass. Guaranteed the pick of the crop from coast to coast. 7. Bishops will host the Churchill Bowl next weekend against the winner of the OUAA.
That's absolutely incredible. Bishop started the season off 0-3, and they won their last 4 games to get into the playoffs. They were the 4th place team, knocked off number 1 Ottawa, and now this week knocked off McGill.
Ian Breck really has built a great program at Bishops. Well, when I say built, that probably isn't fair. He took over a great program, but he's really maintained it, and the only thing he hasn't done is won it all. Then they'll have the opportunity to make it to the Vanier Cup next weekend, as they will face either Laurier or Western. Completion on first down by Assen. The Dinosaurs need some points, and it'll be 2nd down and 4. 9:31 to play in the 3rd quarter of the Western Championship game, 27-10. Saskatchewan out in front. Calgary really has not offensively hit their rhythm today. You never got the feeling that they've been in a flow, that they've had it going. They had the one drive late in the first half. 2nd down and long. They're going to run the ball to Chris Lewis, and Lewis stops, and Lewis is not going to make the first down. Lewis stopped and cut into the middle, and he is short by a good 3 yards.
And the reason this play really doesn't have much chance of working is they're bringing Don Blair. He's got to block Joe Saul, and Joe Saul's the outside linebacker, 77, right there at the top of your screen. Now you watch Blair come in there. He doesn't really quite seal him, and Saul gets outside and makes the play.
3rd down, 2.5 yards to go. They have to make it right to the stripe on the 45, the biggest play of the game so far. The Calgary Dinosaurs trailing it by 17. They need a first down. Kennellan's going to gamble. Assen throws, and it is caught. Don Blair with his 2nd reception of the game. I wasn't sure whether Assen was even throwing for him.
That was a great play by Don Blair.
He came out of nowhere to make the catch.
Trent Bragnall thinks he has an interception. Number 7, the bottom of your screen, to the left of your screen. Now he gets on Don Blair. It's just a nice job by Don Blair to work back to the quarterback. Jason Assen throwing off of his back foot under extreme pressure.
He was in big trouble, Assen, wasn't he? I mean, if he doesn't throw it there, he's sacked, and they needed a first down, and they got it. That is huge for the Calgary Dinosaurs. First down just in Saskatchewan territory. Lewis on the draw play. And they have done a very good job, particularly in the 2nd half on Chris Lewis.
Chris Lewis gets up slowly and walks back to the huddle.
Saskatchewan big and strong, and they certainly are physical defensively, and Lewis is finding it a lot tougher against the Saskatchewan defense than he did last week against UBC. 36-36 tie last weekend, Calgary and UBC. That got Calgary into this game. 2nd down and 8. Assen again, big pressure. He throws, and he overthrows Chris Lewis. Probably threw it away, and the Dinosaurs at 3rd and 5 elected to go for it. Now, this is interesting. It's 3rd and 7 or 8, and they elect to punt away. 90 seconds to go in this game. The Laurier Golden Hawks lead the Western Mustangs by 8 points. The Western Mustangs have the ball. They need a score and the 2-point conversion. 90 seconds in Laurier in Waterloo, and we will certainly keep an eye on that game and let you know when it is completed, or if you're a Western fan, optimistically, if it goes into overtime. A one-hopper to Parsons, and Parsons has a good kick into the wind. He does not get a good bounce. It bounces perpendicular to the kick, and out of bounds it goes at 28-yard line. It's pretty tough to tell what yard marker it's on. The sun shining very brightly on the field, and the yard marker's not standing out, but certainly a standout day for the guys that these people are rooting for, the Saskatchewan Huskies. Rich Gabrook making his way slowly onto the field. You think they'll get conservative now, Saskatchewan?
I don't think so. I think he's still going to learn. I think one of the advantages that Gabrook had as well is that they played their last game 2 weeks ago, so he really had 2 weeks as well to get himself prepared and more familiar with the offense.
Slavic, the ball carrier, just pounding it up the gut, and Slavic picks up pretty close to 5. Call it 2nd down and 5 yards to go for the Saskatchewan Huskies. You know, I would think that it would be a consideration on the part of Brian Towers to try not to make any mistakes at this point, because right now, perhaps the only way Calgary gets back into this game, given the way Saskatchewan's defense is playing, is by a mistake.
But I think Calgary has enough explosive tools on offense that they can get back in this game in a big hurry, so you got to keep the pressure on them. I don't think you can just kind of sit back and try and run the ball and run out the clock.
Gabrook is going to throw, and he threw it very well. I'll tell you what, there was outstanding coverage on the play. Dan Jeremiah was right there with Slavic. If he doesn't throw a good pass, that ball could have been picked off, but he put it right on the money.
Again, see Slavic leaving the backfield to your left again. He forced it outside linebacker. This time he jumps on him pretty well. He puts the ball outside.
If he underthrows that, there is a man right there.
That's Dan Jeremiah. That could have been 6 points the other way, but throws the ball nice. He didn't throw the real strike, just kind of laid it out in front of him and let Slavic run and get it.
An amazing day for Rich Gabruk, who just a couple of weeks ago was their number 3 quarterback, their emergency quarterback, and their punter. Well, the emergency called and he got into the game, and now it's Nordstrom. Not much running room that time. Only a few times this game that he has not seen any kind of hole, and Nordstrom's gain is just a couple.
Well, Saskatchewan trying to take a book out of Calgary's playbook. They run the counter trap where they bring both guard and tackle. The Calgary defense, I'm sure, have seen that a lot in practice against their own team, so they can defend it fairly well. Pretty good numbers for Rich Gabruk. 2 TDs.
Touchdown to interception ratio is so important. Gabruk, 6 touchdowns this season, no interceptions. Calgary seemed to move early, offside against the Dinosaurs, and it's Blackburn with a reception, and again a perfect pass. Colin Newman had perfect coverage on the play. I mean, he was right there on his man, but Gabruk put it where he wanted to. Fun place to be today when you come out on a great day like this. The weather's not too cold, the sun is shining, and your team is now inching closer to the Vanier Cup.
Offside defense, refused, first down.
Gabruk just stands in the pocket. He's looking at Blackburn the whole way. Good coverage, as you said, Michael, by Colin Newman, but Blackburn does a nice job of getting up and shielding his body.
Blackburn wide to the left. Let's see if they go deep to Blackburn. He does have explosive speed. Gabruk looks right, and he's got a man wide open, Flaman, and Flaman makes the catch. So Flaman has caught a pass, Olenek has caught a pass, Prokop has caught many, Johnson has caught a pass, Blackburn has caught a pass, so too have Norston and Slavic. A young quarterback has hit every receiver on the field today.
But what made that play work so effectively was they had Maury Norston lined up kind of deep in the back, and he came sprinting out, and all the defensive backs went, whoa, way back. And Flaman just went down the field and turned around to 5 yards. Well, all eyes were on Maury Norston.
Rich Gabruk has done a great job to spread it around. It's Norston this time. Norston's got lots of room. Norston bounces to the outside. He looks to turn the corner. Norston does inside the 30-yard line, but way back just as he was turning the corner. A little red flag came down, and they will bring this one back. Going to be an illegal block, I believe a hold on the part of Saskatchewan. Indeed it will be. So what was and I got to do some fast math here, 22-yard gain is called back. There'll be a loss of 10 on the play because of the holding. Now we talked to you about Western
holding,
Laurier, that game.
Saskatchewan 5-5, second down repeated.
And again, we will keep you updated on that. When we left it, there was 90 seconds to play, and Western was trailing it by 8, but the Mustangs have driven the ball down with 49 seconds to go. Goldie hit McConnell for the score, and then the 2-point conversion, 23-23. Glab on the 2-point convert. Western and Laurier all tied up. Stay with us. We will let you know when the score changes. Gabruk, second down and 13 yards to go. Lands it out for Flaman. Flaman makes the catch. Flaman will score. What a pass. What a catch. Flaman all the way. 63 yards. Corey Flaman. And that may have been the one that breaks the Dinosaurs back. Was there any push off there, Jim?
Looked like there might have been a little bit, but he played it very well. We see the replay again. Well, watch what happens. He's against Patrick Hardy. Now the ball is thrown up nice and high. Now Flaman knows that the ball is not overthrown. So he stops a little bit and he forces Hardy now to turn, and then he accelerates again. And Hardy goes up in the air, a little bit of a push. Flaman comes down with the ball, and it's 6 points. But he played it so well. He just kind of stopped a little bit, and then he accelerated again, and that forced Hardy to turn around and misjudge the football.
And the conversion is good. Jason Olenek with a conversion. The Saskatchewan Huskies. That combination right there. Rich Gabruk to Corey Flaman. Hook up 63 yards. The Huskies have their eye on a berth in the Atlantic Bowl. Back to Saskatoon in a moment. It was a quiet day for Corey Flaman. One catch in the first half for 7 yards. Then a 63-yarder for the score, and Corey Flaman has broken this game open 34-10. And let's take a look at it one more time.
Nice pass, because he throws the ball up nice and high, and he allows the receiver to adjust to it, use his body, slows down. Now he accelerates. Patrick Hardy goes up and takes a swipe at the ball, misses it. Flaman, good concentration, looking around to make sure that no one's chasing him, no one's around him, and he scoots it into the end zone.
Just an amazing story, the evolution of a football team. Norston was not a huge runner for them early in the year. It was all really from the quarterback position, and the quarterback gets hurt. Norston jumps in and plays like a star, and Rich Gabrook moves from being a punter to the quarterback, and he does well as well. Chris Lewis with a good return this time, brings it out close to the 45-yard line, and that's where a perhaps deflated Calgary team will embark with the ball after a great scoring drive by Saskatchewan. Flaman 63 yards, the bulk of the 81 yards. It came on a 2nd and 13. Saskatchewan has been so effective on 2nd down today.
And when you consider the kind of quarterbacks that they've had here, there's Rich Gabrook, of course, but Brent Schneider and throwing the ball, that was Corey Flaman's first touchdown this year, but those great numbers, 264 yards, 3 TDs, and the goose egg INT.
Still has not thrown an interception offside, and Assen's pass is not a good one into the ground. And I think perhaps at this point the forgotten thing is the Saskatchewan defense, because Calgary came in with a very strong offense, had the ability to score a lot of points, and we expected a shootout. We've got the shooting from one side, but not the other. Offside against Saskatchewan. Calgary will gladly take the free 5 yards. They're certainly not getting anything for free.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 37. Still first down.
Well, I don't think it was Chris Lewis. I think it was somebody else.
David Guthrie. Yep. The outside linebacker for Saskatchewan. Offside, 1st and 5 for Calgary. They need points, and they need them in a hurry. Assen looks, he's got a man wide open, Ryan Crothers, and Crothers with a good straight arm rides his man down to the 46-yard line, and a first down for Calgary. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to the hurry-up offense, Jamie. It was so effective for them late in the first half.
I think they should as well, and this is a nice job by Assen. Really delivers a nice strike to Ryan Carruthers. A big slot back, 6'1", 218 pounds. You can see the kind of power he has. Just kind of gets the straight arm out there.
No hurry-up offense on this, and Assen will send both backs out of the backfield. 5 receivers to the right. Assen looks and goes deep. He lays it out for a speedster, and double coverage and picked off. Penalty markers all over the place. This is some kind of return as well by Sean Grant. Grant out to the 45-yard line. What a hoot that was for Saskatchewan. They had double coverage. Grant was the short man on the play, made the interception. Then he got some great blocks, but perhaps a few illegal blocks as well. The interception will stand, but the field position will change drastically. He returned it to the 40-yard line. I believe the illegal block was at about the 16.
You can see that's perfectly covered. The all-conference safety, Trent Bagnall, there as well. That pass had no chance of being complete. And, you know, this is how Saskatchewan plays this type of defense. They like to play a lot of zone. You know, Chris Lewis was open underneath.
Illegal block, Saskatchewan, number 4.
But they always think that, okay, we'll give you that, but we think that you're not going to be patient enough to take it. You're going to try and go for the big strike, and we're going to be opportunistic and take advantage of it. And that's exactly what happened there.
So perfect coverage, and as Jamie says, exactly the right defense against Assen, who knows that his team's got to score some points. Results in the interception. The illegal block, though. Saskatchewan starts deep from their own territory. Norston stops, looks for something, cuts back into the end zone. Norston's still going backwards, and he turns it up. Penalty down, and that's a shame because what a run that was by Maury Norston. He is a lot of fun to watch. And again, as he shifted fields, the angle of the block changed, and you're going to have an illegal block against Saskatchewan. 2:21 to play in the third quarter. 34-10, Saskatchewan over Calgary.
It's an illegal block, 6-0 Saskatchewan. Still first down.
Gene Mikowski, the right guard. But what was kind of
Looked like a pretty legal block by Mikowski. Was a tough one, but last time I checked, nothing illegal, but a real tough block by Mikowski. So Saskatchewan forced back even more. The young quarterback with his butt almost in the end zone gives the ball to Norston, and Norston cuts back again, looking for something where there's nothing. Beautiful move by Norston. I mean, he has got superb moves as Norston brings it out. And in Waterloo, what a story developing, or has developed. 23-23. They will go into overtime. It's, of course, anything but sudden death. This one won't be over for probably about an hour.
This is Laurier's second overtime game. Last week it was 23-all at the end of regulation time against University of Waterloo, a game in which, of course, Laurier won 29-26.
Overtime rules vary from conference to conference. I love their rule in the OQ.
You know what it's based on? If you have lights. If you don't have any lights, they've got to go sudden death.
DeBrook, he wants to go deep and then lays it up for Prokop, and Prokop pretty well covered on the play by Dan Jeremiah, and Saskatchewan will have to punt it away. So it's based on whether you have lights, but you know what, I still like the idea. In the OQ they have sudden death except with a single point. You cannot win it with a single point.
That's the way it should be. I like sudden death better.
You know, 2 10-minute halves, all the drama is gone. It's a long time before the game's decided.
Well, we did a game last year between Acadia and St. Mary's in the UAA final, and that second half, I think St. Mary's ended up beating Acadia by 20 points. But nevertheless, it took another hour to play that game.
It's going to be an illegal substitution, I believe, against Calgary. Guy came in late. No, the official still counting the number of players in the field. Very high kick, looking back into the sun. And fielded nicely by Kevin Klein. Klein, though, they try to strip him the ball. Klein is still going inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. And a penalty marker did come down, and now 2 more come down. So it's raining red here in Saskatchewan. I'm not sure that Saskatchewan didn't, or make that Calgary didn't have too many men on the field. Let's see if there's an illegal substitution. To be sure, there will be a rough play call. I mean, 2 10-minute halves, when you talk about that, that can really go on for a long time. And if I remember correctly, we'll get back to that in a second. Here's the end of the play.
It's Greg Heisey coming in, takes a big shot at Corey Toms.
So what was a 5-yard return will turn out to be a loss.
Illegal block, Calgary number 39. Unnecessary roughness, Calgary number 35.
So Calgary gets pushed back even more. They'll start from their 51-yard line with 48 seconds to play in the third quarter, 34-10. Saskatchewan leading Calgary in this Western final. First and 10, Assen's got everybody to the right side. That's where he's looking. He finds his man. And Don Blair, a speedy receiver, stops and slips, and he has still been so well contained by Saskatchewan. You know, if you're talking about stories of the game, that is certainly one of them. Calgary's 1,000-yard receiver has been virtually shut down.
And it's interesting when you take a look at Saskatchewan's defense. They don't do anything spectacular. They just play good, solid, basic defense. Don Blair, only 3 receptions, 27 yards. Came into this game with 51 receptions.
Blair looking deep, but he is not going to get a catch or anything like it because Assen is sacked. Saskatchewan defensive line all over him on that play. Saul was right there.
And Saul just took big tackle Ben Fairbrother right back into the quarterback. That's Saul's 12th sack. Jason Assen coming out, semi-roll, gets set, but just take a look at it. Just a bull rush by Joe Saul. See Ben Fairbrother, number 56, looking around.
Well, Joe Saul may not be an all-star, but his play has certainly helped his team be in a position now to make it to the Atlantic Bowl. Saul with 2 sacks on the day, 12 on the season. Now, I'm not 100% sure why we haven't ended the third quarter here. There's 15 minutes on the clock, and the flag was waved and all of that, but still, play continues, and Parsons is forced to kick the ball into the wind. And Olenek fields the ball at the 35-yard line, and Olenek gets ripped as he returns it for 6 yards, and that is where Saskatchewan will begin at their 36-yard line when we return 1 quarter away. Joe Saul, Saskatchewan Huskies from the Atlantic Bowl. Remaining with sunlight and the time perhaps remaining for the Calgary Dinosaurs. 1 quarter to go, and the Dinosaurs trail what has been today a terrific Saskatchewan Huskies team, 34-10. Michael Landsberg and Jamie Bone at Griffith Stadium in Saskatoon. The winner of this game plays in the Atlantic Bowl. The winner of that game goes to the Vanier Cup. Gabrook to Norston, and Norston stops, and he is brought down in the backfield. Actually a loss of yards for Norston, who's had a terrific day running. So after 3, the statistics still very much favor the University of Saskatchewan. 20 first downs. Look at the balance, passing 264, 166 of great importance. Turnovers, Calgary's made 4. Saskatchewan has not turned the ball over today, and if you look at their stats for the last couple of weeks and since they embarked on what is looking to be a 5-game winning streak, they have turned the ball over very seldom. 2nd and 12. Gabrook. Got a good quick setup, and he lays the ball up beautifully. There was a defender short and a defender long, and he put it over the short guy and under the long guy. What a beautiful pass that was by a very inexperienced quarterback.
This is a super play. I mean, you don't expect a 5-year quarterback to be able to do this kind of stuff. I mean, he just puts it over Rob Kidd. He's out in the flat in front of Patrick Hardy, and he hits Maury Norston. That's a beautiful pass.
But he really has thrown all the passes today. An amazing day for Rich Gabrook as he leads his Huskies once again into Calgary territory. And now he's just having fun with a 24-point lead. Pitches to Norston, and Norston not going to find much there. Good defense by Rob Richards, who moved over and made the tackle, and Norston brought down a little bit late. No penalty on the play. The Saskatchewan bench perhaps more offended than Norston was.
Just another day at the dance. Boom.
Well, Norston ended up about 20 yards deep in his own backfield. Where the whistle was blown, though, and the end of his run was a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Great numbers for Rich Gabrook. 17 of 27.
Got off to a great start, and he has not looked back. Rich Gabrook and the Saskatchewan Huskies. Ball right on the 50-yard line. Gabrook, good time, and he hits his man Flamin. Flamin needed to make it inside the 45-yard line for the first down. He's going to be short by a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and call it 1.5 yards.
And they send on the punting unit. I think it's a good decision right now. Don't give Calgary anything. Keep them pinned back in their own end.
How many times has Rich Gabrook punted today? Michael Emmett, our statistician, will check that for us. This is only his 5th punt of the day, which indicates certainly how well Saskatchewan has moved the ball. Calgary, you know, is going to rush him. The snaps haven't been good. No, I see, you know, he's going to rush him, but they don't elect to do so, and it's a short kick that goes out of bounds, and Calgary is going to get great field position, but they need more than great field position. They need to do something with it. It's all Saskatchewan in the Western Final. 12:03 to play in the 4th quarter. The Saskatchewan Huskies have been terrific. Right from the opening kickoff, they took the ball, and the Huskies now in position to advance to the Atlantic Bowl. And the sun is shining. You can get a tan today. You can.
They're trying to tan the back of their necks. That's the only thing they're trying to tan.
You know, the irony of the situation today, Rich Gabrook has had such a wonderful day passing. It's been terrible punting the ball, averaging 28 yards a punt, and he was the team's punter for so long. Completion by Aston. He's got a man over the middle and some running room, and lots of it here for Kevin Klein across the middle. But if you're Saskatchewan, I gather, Jamie, you'll give up anything underneath?
Yeah, and I think the way that they also come up and defend it, you know, they take care of everything. They make sure that if they have a guy coming across the middle, watch how they play it defensively here. Watch Sean Grant come up. He gets leverage outside, and he forces Klein to go back inside, and all the defenders are chasing him. Louis Simon makes a tackle. That's just good, solid defense.
Gain of 1. 2nd and 9. Aston directing traffic. He wants Chris Lewis to move into position, but he's not going to be able to do so. From behind, Brandon Leatherdale with the sack. The Leatherman brings Assen down, and Assen trying to move the receivers into position, but they weren't helping him out at all over there.
Well, Joe Saul has initial pressure and just touches the back of Assen's back, and now he's
back of Assen's what, Jamie?
And then Brandon Leatherdale comes in and finishes it off.
Now, they're saying 2nd and 14, but the yard marker is incorrect. It's 3rd down and 14 yards to go. The Dinosaurs got a gamble, and it's picked off right into the hands of Steve Cornish. Oh, Steve Cornish inside the 20-yard line. The Huskies, with 10:45 to play, are in great shape.
Steve Cornish, the all-conference inside linebacker, number 33. It's tipped. Does a nice job returning it, avoids Chris Lewis, steps away, and then Jason Assen has to come in. Nice move, looks like a running back.
Steve Cornish rambling inside the 20-yard line, and they've got the ball in terrific position once again. 10:45 to play in the football game, and Saskatchewan with a 24-point lead, in great position to add to it right now. Rich Gabrook looking right into the sunshine. All kinds of options. Every player on the field, every eligible receiver has caught a pass, and Gabrook going to go right back to the air. Got good time. Holding is going to be the call, and the reception made. What a pass into the end zone. But again, they're going to bring it back. But what a pass by Gabrook. Prokop was perfectly covered. There's Cornish still celebrating what was an interception and a very nice return. The call will be holding against Saskatchewan.
Rich Gabrook does a nice job of getting his shoulder downfield and puts the ball right on the money. Nice tight spiral that Corey.
Jamie, let's talk about this pass. If we can get another look at it, I'd love to. The guy is rolling. You'll see the holding on this play. Right there,
right
behind.
There, yeah.
But look, he's rolling, he's throwing back against his body, and he zipped a strike. I mean, that was an incredible pass.
Well, the key was that he got his non-throwing shoulder downfield, and he puts the ball in. Just a great catch as well from Kerry Prokop.
He was the punter. An amazing story. Rich Gabrook holding 2nd and 20. Gabrook stumbles, stays on his feet, and now he's got some time and some room, and Gabrook stops and completes it, and he's made up a nice chunk of yardage there to Jason Johnson. That was 1st and 20. And Johnson, I believe, got back about half of it, so another very creative, intelligent play by Rich Gabrook.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't panic. That's the incredible thing about him. He never gets himself into a situation where he panics and he loses his head. He always knows what's going on. He keeps his cool, almost trips and falls here, gains his balance again. Sees that they have the corner sealed. He thinks he's going to run with it. No, at the last moment, he just kind of dishes it out, just over the top of Dan Jeremiah.
2nd down, 10 yards to go, and Gabrook took too long. You know, it wouldn't be surprising if you saw a guy come in and he was able to run and be smart and do some stuff, but this kid has got an arm. I mean, he threw that ball, the one.
That's illegal procedure, 6-0 Saskatchewan.
That wasn't too long. It was a legal procedure.
And I think you have to also talk about what kind of a job the offensive line has done. I mean, he really has had nobody around him all day. He sits back in the pocket. He can pick people out.
Laurier Golden Hawks in overtime. Bill Cubis, one of the best ever in the first half of the overtime, have scored a touchdown. Cubis with a 1-yard run, so it's Laurier by 7. 2nd down and about 15 yards to go. Gabrook steps up, throws, looks into the end zone. Flaman is there, and it's knocked away. I thought Flaman may have been pushing his man. Flaman certainly creative with his hands. He did it before, and he got away with it, and he did here.
This time, Pat Hardy does a nice job locating the ball, and now he gets his hands there and knocks it away. But you're right with Corey Flaman, kind of gets his hands in there, trying to push Pat Hardy's hands out of the way.
Flaman would say, I guess, just trying to fight for my territory.
It's 3rd down, and
they're going to go for it.
13.
3rd and long. 3rd and 15 yards to go. Gabrook sets up. Outside, he's on the dead run. Now he's in big trouble. Gabrook is not going to be able to do anything here. Calgary brings him down. He only had one receiver over there. He was well covered, and he was in big trouble. So the Dinosaurs prevent Saskatchewan from adding to what is a very large lead right now. 34-10 with 8:59 to play in the game. Welcome back to Griffith Stadium. Michael Landsberg and Jamie Bone. The Saskatchewan Huskies out in front of the Calgary Dinosaurs 34-10. Gabrook only had the one receiver over there, Jamie, and he was well covered, so he's in big trouble.
Really was, and Chris Zaharko tracks him down, and then you see Dan Jeremiah, who then makes a tackle. He's not going to throw that interception. He's not going to do that.
But you know what's the interesting question, and I'm sure Brian Towers never figured he'd have to answer this, but when do you take the 3rd string punter, makeshift quarterback out because you don't want him to get hurt? Picked off, out and through the hands of the receiver, Don Blair, and it was intercepted by Sean Grant. But I was saying, you know, when do you take Gabrook and sit him down and say, hey, I don't want to risk this kid getting hurt?
Pretty good pass by Jason Assen again, just off the hands. That's just been the kind of day it's been for Calgary. Very frustrating. Don Blair, not a great day for him. Kind of year he had.
1,033 yards. First ever Calgary receiver to catch 1,033. Made 53 receptions. Number 2 on their full season list behind Josh Borger, their great receiver from the early 80s. Norsted, the ball carrier, not much there. It'll be 2nd and long. 8:15 to play as the clock ticks away and the season ticks away for these Calgary Dinosaurs. They went to the Vanier Cup last year and lost what was an incredible football game. Certainly, you've been broadcasting CIAU football for how long, Jamie?
It's my 6th season.
Was last year's Vanier Cup as good as any?
I think so. I think it might have been actually the best that I've seen since working with TSN. We're right down to the last play of the game.
There was the St. Mary's victory over the Western Mustangs in Halifax, which was also an incredible game. Gabrook with a pitch to Norston. He's got great speed to the outside, but this time Calgary strings it out, and I may have been a little premature. I was going to say they strung it out, but he almost turned it into something again. It'll be 3rd down and approximately 6 yards to go.
Well, James Anderson, the middle linebacker, is trying to track him down, can't quite get him. And then Rob Isaac, the inside halfback. But Norston has such quick, great feet. Just keeps him moving, works his way up the field.
3rd down, but 3rd down in Saskatchewan means let's go for it. 3rd down and about 5 to go, is it? You bet. You know, certainly the one thing that you come away from this game, the only negative that you may be able to think of for Saskatchewan is, you know, will it hurt them somewhere down the road, whether it's next week or the week after in the Vanier Cup without a kicker. Norston stops it. He is going to be stopped. Calgary does not let him get to the outside this time, and the Dinosaurs will get the ball back with 6:56 to play in the game, nicely in the hands of the Saskatchewan Huskies. They're 6:56 away from winning the West. Really rolling at exactly the right time of the year. St. Mary's advances to the Atlantic Bowl, likely to face the Saskatchewan Huskies.
I think St. Mary's have won something like 35 straight games against AUAA competition in Husky Stadium, so what a record.
John Field, the receiver for Calgary, and Field finally does make a catch as the Calgary Dinosaurs hang their head a little bit right now. They had a fine season. But it looks like their season will come to an end today here in Saskatchewan, where many team seasons have ended over the past 11 years with Brian Towers coaching. The West, the last 6 years have gone to either Calgary or Saskatchewan. Calgary had won the last 2, but Saskatchewan looks like they'll do something about it.
And one of the good signs of a very good defense is you see how many people are around the ball. He throws the ball out into the flat. But even all the defensive linemen, after they were rushing the pass, or they all peel off their blocks, they go out there. They have 5, 6, 7 people around the ball all the time.
No huddle offense for Calgary. I'm a bit surprised that they didn't go back to it earlier. They did it on the one drive late in the first half, and it led to a touchdown. Assen throws. He's got his man, his favorite receiver, Blair, throughout the season. Blair has great speed, but certainly, regardless of how many passes he ends up with today, he was not a threat to catch the ball deep. They tried to go to him a couple of times. One was picked off, and when you take Blair out of this offense and say he will not catch the ball deep, you've taken a large part of the offense away.
Yeah, because he was their big push receiver, averaging close to 20 yards per reception this year.
There's Blair again, but he needed, excuse me, that's John Field, needed 3 for the first down, and he did pick up the 3. First down, Calgary, with 5:27 to play. Good pressure that time on Aston. He's got a man wide open. Nobody near him. And lots of room to ramble for Chris Lewis. And Lewis still going inside the 35-yard line down to the 31. So Lewis finally busts one. But he has been well contained today by Saskatchewan.
Well, this is just the blown coverage by Saskatchewan, because it's supposed to have the inside halfback out into the flat. No one's out there at all. Louis Simon tries to come up and make a tag. It's even Cornish, middle linebacker, coming down making the play.
Western and Laurier, what a game this is. Laurier over Western 30-29. Goldie to Reed. They went for the 2-point conversion and did not make it. Now that's 1 minute to go in the first half of overtime. It's 2 10-minute halves. Here we go on the attempt for Blair, and it's overthrown. Nice strong pass by Aston. A pretty tough pass to throw with Blair way downfield, and it's just overthrown. But that is a heck of a gamble by Larry Haler.
And it sure is a heck of a gamble. I'm not so sure it was the proper gamble. I think you have to, you have another 10 minutes to play. I think you tie it up.
Well, the beauty of this, Jamie, is we've got 2 coaches here we can second guess, and also coaches in other games we can second guess. Well, Aston, the more experienced quarterback, with the 1 touchdown and the 3 interceptions, compare that to Gabrook.
And I also think the other picture that we just saw, he was lying flat on his back. I mean, that's the difference it's been today. Gabrook has had all sorts of time. Jason Aston, after he throws the ball, has been lying on his back a good part of the day. And that's Brandon Leatherdale, or as you so referred to earlier, the Leatherman.
Where's he from?
Assiniboia. Do you know where that is?
I know what province it's in, to be sure. Assiniboia. So, Leatherdale down on the field, and that's but the only negative right now. 4:50 to play, 34-10.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Disappointed Calgary bench, certainly a lot happier faces on this bench, as we're happy to say Leatherdale makes his way off. Rich Gabrook, watching one of the key members of his team's defense, helped off the field. Assiniboia, that's close to Swift Current, is it? I believe.
Well, you're looking at the atlas right here.
I have no atlas in front of me. Swift Current. Great hockey territory, and in terms of production of football players, producing an excellent defensive lineman in Leatherdale who looks to be fine. Aston, 2nd down and 10. Aston swings it out. He's got Chris Lewis, who's got lots of room. Lewis, a tough runner, drops the ball, and it is Husky ball. .420 to play, and another turnover by the Calgary Dinosaurs. And clearly, this one isn't going to impact on the game, but turnover is very much a story here.
They had the screen pretty well set up, and Lewis is trying to make a lot of things happen. And Trevor Fleischfreiser, the nose tackle of all things, usually he's on the pass rush, peels off, and follows Chris Lewis, knocks the ball away.
I think you got your Fleisch and your Fress mixed up there. That's Fleischfreiser. Yeah.
Say that 10 times.
Some guys can't say it once. 7 turnovers on the part of Saskatchewan, 2 for Calgary, and Gabrook has been letter perfect on this day. And some substitutions here. into the ball game now. Number 32, Jarrett Rennie, carrying the ball, his first carry of the day.
You better be up in the stands and not sitting at home on your couch. Go play some round part.
3:47 to play. Normally in a game like this, you say in regulation, but I don't think we have to be that cautious. 34-10. Saskatchewan leading Calgary. Boy, you really have to admire the job that Brian Towers has done with this team. Lost his star quarterback, and this team looks to be even stronger now than they have been at any time in the season. They are beating up big time on these Calgary Dinosaurs. Gabrook gives the ball to Rennie, and Rennie is short of the first down. It'll be third down, but nobody too disappointed with that. One happy man, and you bet right now you can put one finger up in the air because your team certainly in the West will end up being number 1 on the season. Saskatchewan Huskies will move to St. Mary's, Halifax. So it'll be Husky versus Husky. Those two have had some great matchups over the years, including the 1991 Vanier Cup.
1990 Vanier Cup, that's right.
Chris Flynn.
Don Bristow, defensive lineman for Saskatchewan.
Chris Flynn and the St. Mary's Huskies had that miracle comeback against the Western Mustangs. Flynn was looking to do it again, rolling, sprinting, scrambling, and Bristow came in behind, sacked him. He fumbled the ball, and the Huskies won the Vanier Cup. Third down for the Huskies, and they had their punting team on. Their punting team now comes off. No, check that. Gabrook is the punter. So I guess situation dictating and not wanting to rub it in, dictating the story here, because when this game was on the line, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, Saskatchewan was going for it. 3rd and a foot, and they're going to punt it here. Plays blown in, but Gabrook, like a veteran, and he's a veteran in terms of years, just going to let the clock wind down a little bit. Let's see if Gabrook can punt as well as he has thrown the ball, and Gabrook hangs it up. It is into a breeze, and he gets a terrible bounce. It's coming back towards Gabrook, and kicked out of bounds by Don Blair, but we'll get you his punting average. It's not good. It's certainly not up there with his passing stats, but who cares, because right now it's all Huskies. Gabrook was the punter throughout the season in Saskatchewan. They assumed that that would be his role, but these fans will tell you, who cares about the way the guy punts the ball? That punt, 0 yards. Now, he did get a terrible bounce, and as a result, his average for the day, 22 yards. We'll give you his quarterbacking stats, and they are much more impressive. Asset, 3 receivers left, throws the little hook pattern to his favorite receiver through the season, Don Blair, and Blair down in the 30-yard line. Gain of 6, it'll be 2nd down and 4. So it'll be St. Mary's against Saskatchewan in the Atlantic Bowl. You saw St. Mary's play how many times this year?
I haven't seen them play at all this year.
You guys did a game in the East, though, right?
I did, yes, but I was doing the
Oh, that's right. That's right. So I should ask that question to Neil Lumsden to get his opinion on it. Great weekend of football last night. Jamie and Gord were in Shreveport. Tonight it's Leaf and John and Gord in BC. The BC Lions against the Calgary Stampeders, live on TSN, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time for the CFL Live.
You know, it's interesting. Sorry, Michael. It's interesting talking to Brian Towers at the beginning of the year, of course. I said, what kind of team is this, Brian? He said, you know, our identity is a passing team. And you could say that statement because of the quarterback they had, Brent Schneider. But he said, no, that's the kind of team we're going to be regardless. So they've decided, even with Rich Gabrook in there, that they are still going to be a passing football team. And he certainly exceeded every expectation, I'm sure, that Brian Towers had of him.
Assen, nice pass. He had some zip on that ball. Completes, and the first catch of the day for a guy who did not start this game. And if it sounds like I'm scrambling for his name, you got it. Brett Campbell, that was their 3rd string quarterback. I was looking in the receiver category. I should have been looking in the quarterback category. Brett Campbell, number 18. Second down and 2. Assen throws, and good coverage. I mean, perfect coverage, intending it for number 24, Ryan Williams. Williams made the touchdown reception. It looked like it would be a significant one late in the first half, but Saskatchewan bounced right back, and that may very well have been the turning point. Certainly in terms of the history of the CIAU in the last 10 years, very much the status quo this year. Saskatchewan, St. Mary's in the Atlantic Bowl, two teams that have dominated their conferences. Back at it once again. And the incompletion means that the Calgary Dinosaurs, that is, will turn it over to the Saskatchewan Huskies. Husky ball when we return after this.
We got a hold of a Geo tracker and decided to use it to get to know Geo's roadside assistance.
So Scott locked the keys in the car intentionally for a change.
What are you trying to say?
Kelly phoned them, and I started the stopwatch.
Yeah, nice shoes, Zebra Boy.
And we waited.
But you know what? Not for long.
Because 27 minutes and 35 seconds later, they showed up.
Mark from roadside assistance.
No big deal, really.
What do you mean? Look at you, no big deal.
Just another day at the office for Mark, though.
Under 28 minutes.
They should deliver pizzas.
Welcome back. Saskatchewan 34, Calgary 10 in the Western Final. Saskatchewan with 1:23 to play, and then they can book their travel to Halifax in the Atlantic Bowl next weekend. TSN will be there for the Atlantic Bowl as well as the Churchill Bowl, which will be played in Lennoxville, Quebec, between the Bishop's Gators and, who knows, will it be Laurier or Western? These fans are happy. Are the fans in Waterloo happy? That's the question right now, because Waterloo is the site for today's game between Laurier and Western. Turnovers in this game, always a factor in a playoff game, you would think, and certainly 8-2 is a huge difference.
You'd have to go back a long way to find the last time Calgary turned the ball over 8 times in a football game.
I believe it was 1988, November the 13th. Do you want to call my bluff?
I don't think so. That was the year they won the Vanier Cup.
I know, but they turned it over 8 times. It was a sloppy field, and that would have been played in Western, wouldn't it?
No, they played St. Mary's.
No, but the game before the Vanier Cup would have been in Western.
That's right. The Central Bowl, they called it then.
So Saskatchewan will kick the ball away. 52 seconds to play. And Rich Gabrook, great quarterback, and on this day, not a terribly good punter, will kick it away. His last punt did not clear the line of scrimmage by the time it had bounced back. We wouldn't be nearly so critical of his punting if his quarterbacking wasn't so terrific today. Certainly, he has had a wonderful, wonderful football game, and what a turnabout of fortune it has been for Rich Gabrook. Gabrook, this is a much better kick. Into the breeze it goes, and a good one. And Don Blair back at his 45-yard line, and he throws it out. Blair, a better quarterback on this day than a receiver, and field inside the 30-yard line. What a great toss that was. A penalty down, but it was perhaps the most interesting play of the second half for the Dinosaurs.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Unnecessary roughness, number 30, Saskatchewan. First down.
That was a heck of a toss by Blair.
It's a nice play by Don Blair, and then he makes a nice play here field to get around Corey Toms down the field, but off to the right of the screen, that's where Kelly Wist and Dan Jeremiah were having an altercation.
A physical discussion. 20 seconds to play. Dinosaurs would like to get in the end zone one more time. It'll just make the score more respectable. And there's a great pass by Ashen right through the hands of John Field. And this is really very much a dispirited Calgary team, and really no reason why their spirits would be up. 15 seconds to play. Saskatchewan Huskies will advance next week to the Atlantic Bowl, face the St. Mary's Huskies. Again, a rematch of the 1990 Vanier Cup. Now, Brent Schneider, in many people's opinions, the best quarterback in the country. He has a torn medial collateral ligament. There's a chance that he could be back next week. Normally, you would rush him back, do anything you could to get him back in the lineup without jeopardizing his health. But now, Calgary down inside the 5. Blair with a reception on a good pass by Asson with just 8 seconds remaining. Do you rush him back? Oh, let me rephrase that. Do you hurry him back because obviously he is a great quarterback, and you know that if you lose a game, your season's over? Or do you say, hey, you know what, Gabruk has played well enough, we don't have to hurry him?
Yeah, we're looking at Brent Snyder right now, and I think what you want to do is you want to make sure that when he is back, he's effective. You can't bring him back and have him not being very effective and doing the things that he did so well, and that was get outside of the pocket and force the chance that he was going to run and throw the ball effectively. If he can't get back in the pocket and get set, I think it's a mistake to rush him back early. If he's capable of doing it and he's back close to 100%, then sure enough, he's your starting quarterback. He has been all year long.
But it's a tough call, isn't it, Jamie? If he's close to 100%, yes. But if he's kind of in that gray area and you never know what you're going to get till you see it on the field, that might be a tough call.
Well, I think that's why you evaluate him in practice.
You think they're giving him the business now? Hey, Brent, you've lost your job.
Absolutely.
Hey, Brent, how's it feel to be number 2?
Well, you should never lose your job because of an injury. And he has been the leader of this football team. There's no question about that. And I think Rich Gabruk would be one of the first ones to probably tell you that.
And there's no question that it would have sounded like a totally bizarre conversation that we are having now a couple of months ago, to think that the third string guy, the punter, could start ahead of the best quarterback in the country, or one of them. And the Dinosaurs get into the end zone. Assen with a completion on the out pattern. Number 18, Brett Campbell. So it took a quarterback-to-quarterback hookup to get Calgary on the board for the first time in a long, long time. First score of the second half, I guess, for the Calgary Dinosaurs.
Well, Calgary trying to salvage a little bit of pride. Jason Assen puts a strike to Brett Campbell in the end zone. Not much of a celebration, really not much to celebrate. But nonetheless, Calgary will have lose a few players next year. Ron Meyer, of course, the big guard for them, is in his 5th and final year. Jason Assen could be back. They'll lose Trent Schmuland, Colin Newman. Got a few holes to fill, but nonetheless, this is still a relatively young football team.
Yeah, this was, I guess, in theory, going to be a rebuilding year for Calgary after last year's near Vanier Cup victory. They had a fairly large turnover, especially a linebacker. They lost all of their linebackers from last year. Peter Cannellan, though, always seems to have a steady stream of talent, and they inserted some players. The players worked well, but they, in the end, came up short.
And that's the same situation that Saskatchewan went through after 1990. 91, they won Canada West and went out to the Atlantic Bowl and lost to Mount Allison out there. They were shocked out there the last time they went to the Atlantic Bowl. They struggled, of course, in 92 and
Tom, yellow knife for you, buddy.
93. This year, they're back on top once again.
Out of town, here's the way things look. 35-30 Western. Reed on the 10-yard run. They went for the 2-point conversion once again, and they missed it. So a touchdown by Laurier with 6 minutes left would put them ahead.
Yeah, those 2-point conversions, missed 2-point conversions are going to come back to haunt them.
But
probably.
That is the right time to go for it, certainly with a 5-point lead.
Absolutely, then you have to, right.
What a great game that looks like it would be. A great day for Saskatchewan here in Saskatchewan. In Saskatoon, the home of the Saskatchewan Huskies, and what a great day they have played in all aspects. Passing, running, defense, they did it all. This is kind of much ado about nothing. 3 seconds to go in the game. And the Dinosaurs have got something planned.
Well, they're going to try and short kick it, I would assume.
Short kick it and run the ball in for a 17-point score. That's the plan. You know, if you're Saskatchewan, it doesn't matter whether they complete the short kick or not. I mean, even, you know, given the fact that there's 3 seconds left, this ball didn't go 10 yards. And the clock doesn't start till someone touches it. And unfortunately, only 1 second runs off the clock. So the Huskies will have to run one play, and then this one will be done. Stay tuned after our game for the TSN Turning Point, also for our Geo Player of the Game. Candidates for Geo Player of the Game? This is my first time on a broadcast. Do we get to pick them, James?
I think we would have a say in it.
Okay. Well, let's kick around some ideas right now.
Well, I think there's only one guy who's going to be a Geo Player of the Game, and that's the QB for Saskatchewan, Rick Gabruk.
Gabruk had a great game, and I look forward to talking to him as well. Certainly, Norston would be a candidate. I mean, Norston's numbers in the first half when the game were on the line were terrific, 108 yards rushing. But Gabruk, considering what he's done, certainly should be the player of the game. And That's it. No time left. It's all over. The Saskatchewan Huskies are winners of the West. They came in and played, I'm going to have to say, a near-perfect football game, really dismantling Calgary offensively and defensively, and the Huskies are champs, and boy, did they play super.
I think kudos for the University of Saskatchewan. They played a great football game. They're very well coached. This is a team that's been rebuilt over the last 2 seasons. It's paying dividends now, and they're off to the Atlantic Bowl. And the other nice thing about this team is you think they have some experience of being in Vanier Cups. They have 5 players that were in the Vanier Cup in 1990 when they were freshmen. Kerry Prokop being one, David Blackburn another one, Jeff Slavic.
Flory was on that team too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
I believe there's 7 players that were in the Vanier Cup. You mentioned some of them: Blackburn, Olenek, Prokop, Slavic, Flory, Stewart. These are all, of course, from memory, and we'll return to Griffith Stadium in a moment.